and turning my audio on, not being muted. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Sorry for starting a little late, but we're chill. It's all good. I wasn't internally screaming and stressing out. It's fine. Deep breaths. No, it's all fun between friends. No dramas. And big welcome to Cap. Hello, hello. This very exciting crossover event with 10 questions with. Yeah, it's going to be questions back and forth, not just me asking the questions. Chat, feel free to ask questions. And yeah, we're going to play some Wingspan. It's going to be the last gasp of the OE era until Asia launches next week. Big hype.
It's going to be all Asia all the time once that comes out.
Exactly. It's going to be wall to wall Asia with me next week. I've just like cleared my whole schedule. I have one more MLW game to play, so I get that out of the way tomorrow. Don't even care. Just if I lose, it's fine. Just get it done. Cross it off my list, and then it's just all Asia. It's all happening.
Cool.
What are you most looking forward to about Asia Cup to get started?
I love the duet. Like it's so much fun playing that with the different player mat. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's something that I hadn't looked at really at all until the beta, and had a pretty steep learning curve on that during the beta. I own the expansion, but I haven't actually had a chance to really play it, the physical game. It's not really something my partner and I do at home. I think he's a little bit scared of me now that I play Wingspan so much. We're very competitive, so I think we'll probably stick to Scrabble. But I still like owning it and being able to see the cards, and particularly when I'm doing my pottery, sometimes I'll pull out the card of the bird that I'm painting and see what the Wingspan card looks like and try and sort of match the look of that.
That's cool.
Yeah. I suppose first question, do you have any kind of creative hobbies that you occupy yourself with? What do you like to do in your spare time?
Yeah, we're more of a sporting family, so
Okay.
it's a lot of
Valid.
golf and tennis and hiking and walking, and we have dogs, so we like to walk the dogs
Oh,
and
nice. What sort of dogs do you
things
have?
like that. We have just mutts. We've
Uh-huh.
got rescue mutts,
Oh, awesome.
and
That's great.
actually we had one pass away
Oh,
this past December. She was like 16, so she
yeah.
led a full life, and we have
Oh.
one right now. He's a feisty little mutt.
Okay, excellent.
Um,
Yeah, my
yeah.
cats are just cats as well. One's
hmm
orange and one's
Yep.
black, so I can relate. And I can also relate because
That's
my
cool.
my old black cat is 16, and unfortunately he's got some health issues and he's on his way out. So we're sort of appreciating every day with him and feeding him lots of treats. He's
Yeah.
actually put on weight lately, which is not really what they're supposed to do when they're palliative. My vet was a bit
That's okay.
confused, and I was like, "Yeah,
Right.
that'd be all the treats."
But once they hit that certain age, like any day you get past that,
Yeah.
it's a blessing, and you just enjoy
Mm-hmm.
it and have a good time with it.
Yeah,
So
it is. Yeah, he's a good old man. So I suppose for those who don't know, I'm sure people will be trickling in to the chat, but for the VOD, I suppose, purposes as well, you run a channel on our tournament server called 10 Questions With, and there's lots of past like recorded like archived interviews that you've done with lots of
yep.
players around the server. And so anyone who doesn't know, I think it can be visibility wise, because there's so much in the server to look at and pick through, particularly when you're new. So many different things happening. It can be a little bit kind of blink and you miss it, and you can have certain areas that you're used to going to and poking around in that sometimes you aren't kind of aware of things like that. For example, like I only just last week started poking around the challenge of the month stuff because I just
hmm
couldn't find it. Like it just wasn't the part of the server that I normally go to. And now that I know it's there, I'll go there and Discord's like, oh yeah, you're active in this part, so it's sort of highlighting things and etc.
Right.
But I suppose give us a bit of an intro to your process and what you do with 10 questions with, and I suppose why you do it and what you like most about it.
Sure. Yeah. So it started like I'm a lifelong audit person. So I've been an auditor
Mm,
for my work and just inquisitive throughout my life. And at one point, early on when I first joined the server, Grubenstein was playing, and I was playing against him quite a bit. And there was an old Mel Brooks movie, A Young Frankenstein, and in that movie they talked about, do you pronounce it Frankenstein or Frankenstein?
mm-hmm,
And I was just like, I wonder if it's Grubenstein or Grubenstein. Like, I would like to know more about this guy
mm,
or this. And so, yeah, I just kind of like started asking him questions.
mm,
And as we went forward, I talked to a couple of the um, mods, and I was like, hey, this is something I'd be interested in doing. What do you think? And they
mm.
said, yeah, good idea. And it's always nice to find out more about people that we play with and that we spend time with. And so that kind of went from there.
Yeah, awesome. And I suppose, obviously, to a level that they're comfortable with, there are
Exactly.
certain interviews that go more sort of in depth than others, and that's completely normal. And that's definitely a kind of policy that I have here, is that you pick your level, and you can be
Exactly.
as private as you want and as comfortable as you want. Like, my standing rule is, if I ever ask you something that you're not comfortable with, just say pass, and we'll just move on. That's totally cool. I get it.
Yep.
I'm an oversharer, but I don't expect everybody to be.
No, totally. Yeah. I always like to lay the ground rules out that, when we're doing this, it's, if we go into any kind of topic that's uncomfortable in any way,
Mm,
shape, or form, like, we'll just change course.
yeah.
But I also let people know, like, you can ask me anything anytime as well. Like, I'm open. I'm happy to talk through things and answer questions.
Mm.
Um,
I was
and it's just,
wondering, though, sorry to
yeah.
interrupt, what
No,
sort
no,
of
all
is
good. Go
your
ahead.
process for picking who you're going to interview? Because there are some sort of obvious ones that were like recent tournament winners and things like that. But do you kind of interact with somebody and sort of put them on your little short list for, oh, that'd be a good person to interview, or yeah, that's sort of the way it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I try and rotate it between, like, I'll put quote unquote famous folks in the server, people that have won tournaments and are sort of front of mind, and
Sure.
then I try and do people that I've interacted with that I find interesting,
Yeah.
or that I've played a lot of async games with, and just try and do a mix of folks that are, you know, both really good players, and then people that people that
Mm.
other folks may not know a whole lot about.
Yeah, and there are so many different players depending on what your kind of favorite thing to do on the server is. You'll interact with different people, and
Right.
even to do with your time zone as well. Obviously, like I quite often in my evening, the only people that are awake are, well, people in the southern hemisphere, but there aren't too many of us. But it's generally Europeans who are like logging in at work and sort of interacting during their day. So yeah, my prime time is very different from other people's prime time. So the sorts of people that I see online, obviously it's different when you're interacting with people who have posted, 12 hours before, and you sort of got that disconnect. But in terms of who you're talking with live in the moment, chatting back and forth, it very much depends on when you're online and also where your activity is, I suppose. Like, because there are people who are really active in the 1v1 and they're sort of going in and sort of gambling their elo a little bit, or there's like the multi-gang, or there's the people who just want to have a chat, and then there's the birders posting their bird pics. And yeah,
Right.
it's very different, which is kind of the beauty of it, really, is that yeah, there's such a, oh, I've lost you. Oh dear. um all right, pause for just a second while I try and get him back. That hasn't happened before, but that's okay. Who have we got in chat, by the way? We've got Hen. Yeah, cap down. I have murdered him for being tardy. It's fine. And we got Zobi, and Peach might be sort of winding up by now. She's still lurking. Oh, I think we're getting him back.
Apologies. I think I lost you there for
Yeah,
a
that's okay.
second.
Well, it kind of all went back up, automatically, which that's perfect. I love a problem that fixes itself on my end. And that was the first time that that had happened during one of my streams. So I was just like screaming internally, what am I doing? But it's all good. We got you back. No dramas. So what are you doing over here in the game? Oh yeah, yellow throat, bit of digging.
I got yellow throat and digging. Yep.
Nice. Yellow throat's on my make list actually of one of the birds I've got to paint next. So he's going to be very cute with his little black face, with the grey and the yellow. So
Cool.
looking forward to that. But yeah, in terms of the questions, you've kept your 10 questions with pretty standard in terms of the questions that you ask, but you get such different responses.
It's really fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool reading through them. And I suppose, did you have some questions, well, the same questions maybe even for me today? I didn't sort of prep any answers, but I'm always happy to talk off the cuff.
Yeah, I always I try and rotate between like wingspan type questions and like personal like life type questions. So
Sure.
I guess the one thing that I would love to know is just your background. Where exactly are you from? How did you get where you are? And what do what do you do? And how do you do it?
Yeah, sure. So my background, I suppose, in terms of sort of broad strokes, my childhood and etc. I am born and bred in Adelaide, South Australia. So yeah, we're kind of the forgotten part. I suppose people think about Melbourne and Sydney primarily when it comes to Australia. We're one of those cities that sort of the big bands, when they tour, they kind of skip over you because. But no, we're good. Adelaide is sort of known for being sort of quiet and sleepy, and I like it that way. And the house prices aren't quite as bad here, so we're kind of lucky in that respect. So lifestyle wise, yeah, I really love it. And my husband and I like to be quite close to the city. We learned that we actually spent 3 years living in Brisbane, but apart from those 3 years, I've lived pretty much all the time in South Australia. I'm from the northern suburbs, which I suppose doesn't really mean anything to international people, but I live, as a kid, I lived sort of close up north to the Barossa Valley, if you've ever heard of that, to do with wine. They make some really fantastic red wines there. So we're really very lucky with our wine availability here in South Australia. We've got a fantastic red wine region up north in the Barossa Valley, and we've got an amazing white wine region, the McLaren Vale area down south. So I wasn't always into wine, but I have become a little bit more into it in my sort of 30s, as you sort of do. Become slightly more cultured perhaps. And I wouldn't say that I'm like knowledgeable about wine, but I'll take a sip of something and go, yeah, this is good. This is what I enjoy. So there's a particular cellar door in a place called Nuriupa that they're very chill. They're called, oh gosh, what are they called? They make a particular wine called Mother's Milk, which sounds really weird, but it's like my favourite wine. It's so good. Well, to be fair, there's another kind of red wine with a wombat on it that we're very fond of. That's actually kind of overtaken that recently. So we call that wombat wine in our house, and that is actually the current favourite. Yeah. But yeah, South Australia. That's the place to be for me. And the time that I spent in Brisbane, I was very homesick, and all I really wanted to do was come back home. And when my husband, my then just boyfriend at the time, got the job back in Adelaide, we just like packed up and went back to Adelaide. We were back in Adelaide within 2 weeks. It wasn't even a decision. It was like, yeah, we're going back. So yeah.
Very cool. Nice.
What else to say, I suppose? Wingspan, only got into that the last couple of years, and found the server through Flan's YouTube channel. So yeah, just kind of
Were
wandered
you
over there. Mm.
were you board game first, or were you online Wingspan first?
Board game, but only really briefly, I suppose. Yeah, I
Okay.
sort of played the board game with some friends who were we were playing a lot of different board games at the time, and we were playing particularly a lot of Settlers of Catan and Ticket to Ride and Pandemic and things like that. The kind of really big name ones.
Hmm.
And they sort of pulled out Wingspan one day and said, "Oh, it was actually a couple of years later. We hadn't seen them in a while." And they pulled it out and said, "Oh, you'll like this." And I'm always a little bit like, "Oh, you don't tell me what I'm gonna like." But no, it was chill. No, they know me, so they were pretty bang on. And sat down and played it, and they sort of said, "Well, this is kind of the new kind of staple big thing." Whereas Catan was kind of our core kind of go-to game. They said that this is now their kind of go-to game in terms of the mixture of strategy and chance and just overall enjoyability to just pull out and play over and over. So that carried a lot of weight with me, and I really sort of paid attention and gave it a good go. It helped that I won my first game.
It always helps.
I don't
No
know how
doubt,
that
no
happens,
doubt.
but whenever you win your first game, something you're like, I like this game.
Oh, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I remember that I had Passerine and Backyard Birder, and I had no idea
Oh,
how
wow.
crap of a bonus card Backyard Birder was. Because I somehow just had some quite good synergies happening. And yeah, and then eventually, was interested and found Flan, and then from Flan found the server, and kind of lurked around the server mostly for the first kind of 10, 11 months until festive season, this one just gone, and that was when I really became very comfortable with, I suppose, both my time zone, which can be challenging, and kind of getting to know people and feeling comfortable in kind of, you're here, so you're a potential friend, like 100%. Like I can just chat to anybody, sort of a vibe.
Yep.
Which was always there, but hadn't quite clicked for me. I was sort of a little bit timid until that point, and then suddenly I was just jumping on festive games with all these people and really enjoying it, and it really hit home for me how lovely and varied and interesting all these people are who play this game, and just
It's really amazing when you think
Yeah.
about it, and when you see the people that play, like just how much of a friendly, open community it is. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, for sure. No, I do. What am I trying to do here? I should probably play the game. Yeah, I do. I do need some food. That is true. Yes, good stuff. Got what I need. Alrighty. Well, in terms of question for you, I don't know if that's what you want to do. It's sort of back and forth.
Sure. Yeah, we go back and forth.
Yeah. I was reading through, because you did a bit of a back and forth interview with Scared one time, and that was sort of a lot of background information about you. It was almost sort of your own kind of answering those same sort of questions. So we could get to know you. So I had some sort of follow-ups to some of those answers.
Sure.
But there was one that I felt wasn't sort of covered, which what sort of music do you like? Are you into music?
Oh, big time into music, yeah.
Yeah. What's your jam? What's the favorites?
I'm an indie rock guy.
Oh, cool. Me too.
So I grew up like with U2 and REM and those kind of bands.
Nice.
And then in the last 10, 15, 20 years, I've been into the National, Inhaler, bands like that. And just, I listen to music all the time. Like when I tend to be our family vacuum person. So like when I vacuum the house, I have my headphones in and I'm listening to music the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah, and we go see live shows every once in a while.
Yeah, cool. That was one of my questions, actually. What's your favorite concert that you've been to?
Favorite concert would probably be a U2 show that I went real early, like in the mid '80s. But I also really enjoyed. My brother was a big Grateful Dead person,
Oh wow. Yep.
um, and so I saw a handful of Dead shows, and one of those was really spectacular. And then recently, I would say my wife, Mrs. Awesome, is really into a band called Darling Side,
Okay.
and we've seen them a bunch of times. Um, and they are just really, really good. They're I would say like a Crosby, Stills and Nash kind of thing, like harmonies going crazy,
Nice.
um, and really, really enjoyable. And we've seen them a bunch of times, and so they've been really fun to see.
Nice. I have to look that up. What are they called? The
Darling Side, it's
Darling Side. Okay.
yeah, Side after Darling.
Excellent. No, I'll look into that for sure. That sounds cool.
Yeah, they're very quite good.
Yeah, cool. Are they like a bigger name band that I just haven't heard of, or are they more local, or?
They're probably more local. They've been around for a
Mm,
little bit. They're just not very well known, I think.
sure.
But really, really good. So
Yeah, nice for sure. I
yeah.
was
How
poking
about you?
around. Well, I'm also a indie rock girl, so I could go on about indie rock Aussie bands, but maybe we can trade back and forth some sort of lesser known indie
Sure.
rock. There's a public broadcaster radio station called Triple J, and I was really
Okay.
into them for a lot of years. Not so much right now because I'm a bit more into audiobooks than finding new music. Like I'm still into music, but I was in a real like finding new music kind of a thing a few years ago, and added a lot of new bands to my kind of listening mix. Whereas I'm not sort of doing that at the moment. I'm more into sort of audiobooks and my favorite bands. I sort of have phases like that. But yeah, some favorites. I really like Gang of Youths and Ballpark
Oh
Music.
yeah.
Oh, you like Gang of Youths? Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're really good. I love
Yeah,
them.
really good stuff. And there's a Brisbane band called Gang of Youth. Sorry, not Gang of Youth. Ballpark Music. I really like them.
Okay.
But some British bands too, like Arctic Monkeys and Nothing But
Hmm.
Thieves. Yeah, that sort of stuff. And I'm a big Muse fan, so
I like Muse as well.
yeah.
Um, Another one that I really have always liked that every time they put a record out, I really enjoy it is Metric.
Okay. I haven't heard of them. I'll have to look it up. Metric.
Yeah, they're out of Canada, but
Okay.
every record they put out or every CD or whatever it is, it's always really, really good, really enjoyable, and highly recommend them as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love Gang of Youths. I heard them maybe like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and
Did you like their
I've
new album? Because their new album had a different sort of a vibe to it. But I really enjoyed it.
I haven't heard the new one. I need to
Okay.
get it.
Yeah. I really liked Angel of Eighth Avenue, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's the album. But yeah,
that's
perhaps you need to
incredible. It's an
listen to some of the
incredible
other
record.
releases.
Yeah,
Yeah, really cool one.
so good.
Oh, Hen likes Metric. Okay, well I'm definitely sold. I'll have to look that up then.
Oh, there we go.
By the way, Peach, if you're still here, have a great time. And she's just plugging that where she lives, Eugene in Oregon, is a huge deadhead place. Yeah, so she knows.
Nice.
Very good. Hen actually had a question, just skipping away from music for a second. Have you been on the server, the tournament server, since the early days, or sort of when did you kind of jump on board?
So we Ethan Ethma, who's my son,
Yeah.
he found the game and introduced us to the game during COVID. So we played the board game like March, April, May of 2020, like multiple times a day. Like we broke our dice roller, the birdhouse, within 2 months it was gone because
Yeah.
we were playing so often.
Respect.
And then
That's good. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then that summer he found the server and I joined that fall. So it was like
Mm,
September of 2020 ish,
sure.
and I've been playing ever since online since about
Yeah.
that time. So that doesn't make me. I think I'm not an OG, but
You're
I've been around for a little bit.
fairly close. Yeah, that's sort of
Yeah, I've
almost
been around
5
for a little bit.
years coming
Yeah,
up on
yeah,
in a few months. So, yeah. Um, Yeah, respect. I've only done sort of one. I sort of measure it by how many festive seasons I've done, which is only one. So I started early last year. So yeah, so that's sort of I'm a newbie, really.
I love the festive time. That's so much fun.
Yeah, I really had a ball. It was great. Um, yeah, I think your turn now. We sort of covered music, but we could backtrack on that. I sort of have a bit of a tangent with music, I suppose, later on. But did you have a next question for me while I decide what I'm doing with my turn?
Sure, yeah, you take your turn. I guess, what kind of birds from the game do you see around where you live, or like, can you? I know at one point, Fun Bun, who's my other son, was getting really good at like hearing the calls and knowing what birds were in our backyard based on like hearing them in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, are there birds around your house that you recognize now from the game, and or what birds are near you that you see all the time?
In terms of the calls, I'm really not so good at that, but it's kind of a goal of mine to get better at that. I'm sort of a aspirational birder now that I've been talking to some of my guests. Like, I mean, I'm going to break my rule because they're not here, but Beans on Toast and Determinator came on and we're talking about birding. So I definitely have a strong interest in nature and wildlife without actually being an outdoorsy kind of person. Like I'm a real indoor cat. I'm interested in what's going on out there. But it sometimes takes me a lot to kind of get out amongst it, I suppose. But I do have a goal to do a bit more of that. And I'm lucky enough that my parents live down south, a place called Clayton Bay. It's on the Fleurieu Peninsula. So there's a really big long river in Australia. It's almost like our equivalent of the Mississippi, maybe,
Okay.
in Australia, called the River Murray. And the Murray, it's not the source, it's the opposite, the end, the sea part where it meets the sea is in South Australia where my parents, near where my parents live. So it's a really big kind of biodiverse area, like a wetland. Like there's a big lake there called Alexandrina, and there's a place called the Coorong, which is it's, as I said, it's the bottom of this massive river, so it's this real like sand dunesy kind of area, but it's the outlet for the river. And there's just a lot of biodiversity and a lot of wetland birds that I'd sort of be keen to get out with my binoculars and sort of take more notice of. Particularly just the really beautiful, like majestic pelicans that just glide around. Pelicans kind of freak my husband out, but I think they're just gorgeous, and you see them just soaring around, and they're really beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah, we've got the really pretty version of pelicans, and I think the US kind of got shortchanged on that, which is it's funny because they did Finding Nemo, which is set in Australia, but they used more the American version of pelicans. They're kind of scruffy looking in the animated movie, and it's like no, you screwed up the pelicans. They're not Australian pelicans. That's fake news.
That's great.
Oh, Dux is here. Dux saying love pelicans like dinosaurs. Yeah. And I, as I said last stream, I really like dinosaurs too. So there's that kind of dinosaur bird connection that does amuse me. And you're asking about birds, I suppose, in more my neighbourhood, where I live in sort of inner suburbs of Adelaide, near the city, and you get your usual suspects like your magpies and galahs and noisy miners and magpie larks and rainbow lorikeets and lots of pigeons, and they're crested pigeons, I believe, mostly.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we get willy wagtails and little ones like that as well. So I'm not good with the calls, but I can definitely recognize a lot more of them. I mean, there are the really iconic ones like a galah. Like you can't really mistake a galah or a sulphur-crested cockatoo for anything other than what they are. They're so sort of iconic. But some of the smaller birds, definitely what I would call a sparrow is just any kind of generic small brown bird. And so
Right.
I think if I get more and more into birding, I'll have to sort of break myself of that and go, well, it's a small brown bird. It's not just a spoggy, which is what we call sparrows in Australia, spoggies.
Spoggy.
Spoggy, yeah.
Okay.
But so yeah, what is it? Let's have a look. Let's take a photo. Let's ID it properly. So yeah.
One thing I thought was really cool. We had spent some time in Costa Rica this winter, and just the color of the birds there, like some of the parrots and parakeets, and
Yeah.
oh
Can
my
imagine.
gosh, like you don't see that where I live. It's everything is blue or red. You don't see the oranges and the yellows as much, quite as much, and just yeah, the parrots and all the birds that we saw down there were just incredible.
Yeah, that would be incredible. And I suppose that segues nicely into talking about travel, because I was reading your interview and I guess had a follow up because you said that you're a big traveler, particularly within the US. You said at the time, I'm not sure how old that interview is actually, I was supposed to look that up, but at the time you'd been to 44 of the 50 US states. Has there been an update since then? Have you crossed any others off your list?
I think I have. I think I've crossed one or two off.
Because I think
I still
what you were missing at the time, if I refer to my notes, were Alaska, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, and the Dakotas.
yeah, I crossed off Idaho.
Okay, cool. Nice. So
So
you're
I
at
got that one
45
done.
now. Well done.
Yep, and I'll be going to Hawaii for work in September,
Oh, very
so I'll
cool.
get another one crossed off. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, you get the big bingo when you finally get to 50.
exactly. That'll be very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, Idaho was shockingly, well, not shockingly, it was gorgeous. I mean, just a beautiful, um, big open land, beautiful mountains, just a wonderful outdoor type place. I was really impressed by Idaho.
Oh, very
Loved it.
cool. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not a state I know very much about, and I, in general, need to improve my U.S. geography.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, because I was looking even at Pennsylvania, like where's Philly, and where is this, that, and the other? Because even my East Coast U.S. geography was a bit funky. And
It
I
can
was
be. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
I was
I
looking at it
see
and I
that.
was like, that is not where I thought it was. And for some reason I thought that Boston was south of New York, and I was like, oh, I've just messed this up completely and I've got no idea where anything is. So it's interesting, and because there's so much of US media and TV shows and things like that come to Australia, we're very kind of US centric these days in our media, whereas back 50 years ago it was much more looking to Britain for our kind of cultural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We get the shows and the references to all these places, but we don't have the kind of context a lot of the time for where these things kind of are in relation to each other. And in terms of geography, it was kind of my little tangent into music, because I'm a big Billy Joel fan. I got into Billy Joel through my parents, and one of the songs I really love of his is the Downeaster Alexa, if you know that one.
Oh, that's a good song. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of my favorite kind of ballad of the working man kind of
Mm-hmm.
song. And some of those lyrics, like I was like just looking at the map on Google Maps of that kind of New York Bay kind of area around Long Island and things yesterday, and things were making a little bit more sense in terms of the lyrics.
Yep, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I was like, oh, I get what he means now. Like, there's Nantucket, and
That's funny.
but it's good. But yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. Are you a Billy Joel person? But I sort of answered that in terms of being more into indie rock. But that's
I am,
fine.
but my father was a huge Billy Joel guy, and so I grew up with like the Stranger album, and I had Glass Houses, the record of it, and listened to a ton of Billy Joel growing up. It was
Nice.
just part of my part of my whole upbringing was Billy
Yeah.
Joel was always in the background.
That's cool. Yeah, because when I streamed with Hen, we were talking about, I suppose, our early influences in terms of what our parents were listening to. So I suppose that would
Hmm.
be kind of one of your core
Absolutely.
ones. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was for me as well. My parents were big into more the 80s stuff, like The Bridge and Stormfront and those
Yep.
kinds of albums. Yeah, that's kind of my kind of Billy Joel favorites for sure. Just looking at the map of Idaho, because Hannah's asking, did you go to Yellowstone?
Yeah,
Which,
I didn't get a chance to. I was there for work. The company I work for does renewable energy, so we develop wind and solar farms.
oh, okay,
And so I was in a specific spot, like, and we were probably 60 miles from Yellowstone, and I did not have a chance to like spend the weekend or whatever. But it was striking in that I was there like in the first week of June last year, and in the place where I was, it was, 60, 70, 80 degrees, and it was nice, but there was still snow on the top of the mountains.
mm-hmm.
And the guys that worked at the site were saying like, oh, if you are going to spend time here, you should try and get into Yellowstone because the entrance is only like 50 or 60 miles away.
Sure,
So it's definitely something I'd go back to. Like that's on my bucket list of areas that I really need to get myself to, and the boys, and this is awesome as well. So we'd
yeah,
love to get to
and
Yellowstone
it's
at some
actually
point.
on my list as well because I recently watched from lots of pressure from my parents. What did I watch? Yellowstone,
Oh, the
and
show Yellowstone.
funnily enough, and 1923, which is the Harrison Ford and Helen
Yep, the
Mirren,
prequel.
yeah, the prequel.
Hmm.
Really loved because I'm big on a historical drama. So Yellowstone, I could sort of take or leave. Like I enjoyed it, but 1923, absolutely adored it, and definitely since then have wanted to maybe someday go to Yellowstone. And definitely in my head, Yellowstone's very locked into Montana. But now looking at the map, I'm like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. It's like in the kind of corner of Idaho and Wyoming and Montana there.
Yep.
So yeah, that makes sense now because I was like reading Hen's comment and I'm like, but he said he hasn't been to Montana. And I'm like, geography ignorance once again strikes. So
Yep.
all good. It's like somebody saying the Murray River, but they're talking about Victoria, whereas I associate the Murray River, that river I was talking about, like a lot with my own state, but it runs through two or three other states. But
Yep. But you
yeah,
think of it in your terms and
in
what
my
you know.
terms,
That's
yeah,
normal. That happens.
for sure. All right, what is going on with this game, by the way? Oh, I accidentally skipped some talks, but that's okay. Happens.
Uh,
I'm liking your Picaco thing you've got going on here. You've been doing the digging. Have you found some good stuff?
I found some good stuff, but I feel like I need to do maybe one more dig. I love that gray warbler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a good little boy.
I might dig one more time because I've
Mm.
also got. I don't know. Are you seeing my board or not seeing my board?
I can see your board, but not your cards.
Okay, so yeah, I've got the EIE sitting in my deck, so I
Ooh.
could always use a few more cards
Yeah, for sure.
to
It's a bit
tuck
of a
behind that guy.
security blanket to keep digging
Exactly.
when you unearth one of those, for sure. Um, does that tend to be? I mean, it's a strategy for all of us. But are you a big kind of pick a wetland bird and dig kind of a guy in terms of when you play Wingspan, your strategy?
Not necessarily. Yeah, I
Okay.
kind of I'm all over the board. Like I try and play what comes to me,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I try not to like force things. But in some cases, I probably should dig more than I do.
Yeah, sure. I'm a bit the same. I settle a little bit too quickly
Yeah, I
for
definitely settle
what's
too quickly.
okay when I should be digging for something that's a little bit better.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's interesting. Are you more of a like? Is there a particular engine that you prefer to build, like a grassland or a wetland or a
I
forest?
love a forest engine is probably
Okay.
my favorite,
Yeah, me too.
especially with OE. Like it's just such a nice program to run.
Yeah, no, definitely, and OE definitely for that reason one of my favorite expansions because loving a forest engine, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you be a fan of OE? But what was I gonna say? Yeah, people talk all day long about card draw, and of course it's really important to kind of find the stuff that you're looking for. But I've definitely had games where I haven't had the food access to, once I find the good stuff, to get it down quick enough to make use of
Right.
it. So it's the most heartbreaking for me to be at the end of the game and have a handful of like banger big point birds to play,
Oh,
but
yeah.
no way to get the food to get them down. So
Yep.
and
And that happens.
there's not always a friendly neighborhood co-op player around to
Right.
give you to give you free resources for
Exactly.
sure.
It happens.
Um,
But I'm in the same boat. I end up in that same spot many times.
alright. Speaking of
So,
friendly
oh, go ahead.
neighborhood co-op players, there you go. There's a nightingale.
Sweet.
Sweet.
What do you call the the uh, the food types and the three
Um, I suppose as a default,
locations?
I'm pretty quote unquote normal in that I probably call them grasslands, wetlands, and forest. And nectar, berry, fish, worm, rat, seed.
So you go
Um,
rat, seed, okay?
yeah, but Hen and I have a lot of fun sometimes. We definitely like to, as an in joke, refer to wheat seeds as pine cones. I probably do
Okay.
interchangeably seeds and wheat, but pine cones is the joke. That's fun. Um, but we also like to come up with creative names for the habitats as well. I think the most recent one was the attic, the ground floor, and the basement.
Oh, that's nice. I like
Yeah.
that.
And around festive time, we were playing around with the wet, the dry, and the shade. So that was fun as well.
Mm,
It's
very
fun
cool.
to confuse people with in jokes. That's kind of our vibe as a little friendship group.
I like it.
uh, um, yeah, good stuff. Um, so, oh yeah, Hen's got stuff to say, and Hen's saying, and full tuck is what's known as flooding the basement. So we're
Nice.
working on the metaphors related to the weird names for the habitats now. So we're on another
I
level.
like it.
Yeah. We were talking about travel before when I asked you about the States, but you've done some international travel as well. I was reading a trip to
Hmm.
Scotland, which I've also been to Scotland, and I've been to St Andrews as well, but not in a golfing context, more as just like a road trip. That was a point that we sort of ended up on around the place. But I mean, St Andrews is gorgeous. Some really sort of dramatic scenery and ruins, which were very cool. The kind of ruined castles that I was seeing around Scotland. Did you get much around Scotland apart from? Because I think you said you were golfing with your dad at the time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a golf trip, but we did get to a few spots, not
Mm.
not too many, but we got to like Sterling, which is where the Braveheart William Wallace statue, and there were some things there. We were in Edinburgh for a little bit, and then we were on the West Coast a little bit in, I forget the name of the town that we were in. But we got around a little tiny bit, but we didn't get to see a ton. It was mostly around the golf.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Whereas I did more of a road trip. We did sort of St Andrews and a few things in the middle, and then up to Inverness, and then we did the Isle of Skye. And
Oh, I would love to do that someday.
yeah,
Yeah.
Skye was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I would definitely go back to Scotland. And the weather was weirdly gorgeous in Scotland when we were there. So all of
Me
my
too.
photos, they don't look like Scotland because the
Uh-huh.
grass is like green and the sky is like blue. And people
When
are
I was
like,
there,
what are you doing? This isn't Scotland. And I'm like, no, this is Loch Ness, but it's like Loch Ness on a beautiful sunny day.
oh yeah, when I was there, we were playing golf. It was in like the first week of September,
Mm.
years and years ago, and it was, for me, it was like between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit,
Oh goodness.
and the sun was out every day. So I was wearing shorts and like a short sleeve shirt playing golf, and people would say like, "Oh, you don't know how good you have it. Like usually it's wet and rainy and it's like
Mm-hmm.
50 degrees." And I was like, "This is the best." Like I had the time of my life. It was incredible.
Yeah, good stuff. And you've been to Australia as well. You want to tell me about that?
That was a quick trip for
Okay,
work. Again, years ago, just into Sydney for a week.
sure.
It was like 10 days. I did see Andrew Bird was playing when I was there, so I went and saw him one night.
Mm-hmm.
A really good indie music guy,
Okay,
and
Andrew Bird. Okay,
yeah, just walked around downtown Sydney, saw the Opera House and such, but it didn't get to do a whole lot else.
fair enough. You've probably seen about as much of Sydney as I have then, because that's about all I've done in Sydney. So I'm
That's funny.
definitely a yeah. The two cities apart from Adelaide that I've spent the most time in are kind of Brisbane and Perth. So I've spent very little time in the two big ones, being Melbourne and Sydney. Um, so I'm a little bit weird in that respect. But you know, you can always jump on a plane and do it in the weekend. But like, you've got to actually do it
Right.
for sure. But yeah, that's cool. Um, do you think you'd come back again? Is there any sort of aspirational international travel that's sort of on your list, like maybe New Zealand or anything like that?
New Zealand's high on my list. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and so I would love like just to watching the movies. I read the books first,
Yeah.
then I saw the movies second. But watching the movies, I fell in love with the geography and the beauty of New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the other one would be like South America, Peru, Chile. I would like to get down there at some point to the Andes Mountains and see some of that.
Nice. Yeah, very
How
cool.
about you?
Uh,
From a travel
New
perspective?
Zealand, yeah, is probably where we're going next. We were supposed to go to Europe this year, but I mean, my husband did, but I unfortunately had to cancel it because of my old cat. But that's okay. That's what you do for your animals. So yeah, New Zealand I think is going to be next year, and the debate at the moment is Ben wants to do snow sports, and so he
Mm.
wants to go in winter, and I want to do like wildlife stuff and like Hobbiton, which maybe isn't the best in winter. And so it's like, are we doing like we're not averse to separate holidays, so it might be just that Ben goes for a month in the winter and I go for a month in the kind of spring maybe. But yeah, that's the debate at the moment, whether we're doing it together or whether we're doing it separately, or maybe Ben gets to go twice because
Oh yeah, do it twice. Why not?
yeah, maybe. It's definitely something that we should have already done if we were keen on New Zealand, because it's only a
Hmm.
domestic flight from Australia. They don't really like do a lot of custom stuff for Aussies. They just kind of go, yeah, you're basically us, so and they wave you through. So
Right.
yeah, it's definitely doable. We just need to knuckle down and organise it for sure. But very keen, and I'm also a massive Lord of the Rings fan, so that's going to be
Well,
fun
that's cool.
times.
Nice.
Recently, within the last year, read the Silmarillion, so I'm like on that level of like Tolkien
Hmm.
snobbery now, because I'm like, I've read the Silmarillion once, and so now I therefore can read the Silmarillion as many times as I like. Whereas that first one, that first read through, that's the challenge. Once you've read it,
It
it's
is.
easy to read, but
Yep.
yeah, that first one is a toughie for sure.
It was hard to get through the first time for sure.
Are you into audiobooks at all? Because that's definitely how I sort of got through it. Andy Serkis recorded them all within the last few years, and I really love his tellings of them, his recordings. I play them over and over. I really like the way that he performed them.
That's cool. Yeah, I have not been a big audiobook person. I'm more of a more of a at this point like a actually hardcover like actual book.
Yep.
I had the e-reader for a while and I did enjoy that, especially when I was traveling for work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would do that quite a bit, and then I've gotten more into into the hardcover books lately. I don't know why, but I just have. And
Yeah.
I've done that more than I've done the audio.
Fair enough. No, it's definitely still valid. However you want to consume books,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. But I also know, because obviously you sort of revealed yourself as being into kind of fantasy with Lord of the Rings, but I also know that you and Mrs. Awesome are big sci-fi people as well, I have heard. Which I
Yeah.
was very excited to learn because I'm a massive Trekkie, so anything
Oh,
sci-fi,
I-
yeah, yeah, I'm just
yeah.
like, yes. Um, and yeah, I suppose I have questions on that as to sort of what's your favorite sci-fi, and do you have any recommendations, and what do you think of the new Trek, and all the questions, just pow 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 pow.
All right. So I would say, yeah, Star Trek is big for us. We've watched almost all the shows. My wife, Mrs. Awesome, really loves the newer one.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called now.
Strange New Worlds.
What's that?
Strange New Worlds or Discovery?
Yes,
Strange New
that one.
Worlds. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but as far as books go, I will say Ethan, my older one, read a book called, now I'm drawing a blank on it. Geez, I'll have to figure out what it was.
I'll let you think
And
for
I
a
read it.
second, but also
Yeah,
set like side note, Strange New Worlds season 3, July the 17th. That's coming. Because
it's coming.
how dare they leave
Right?
us on a cliffhanger like that? I was spewing, but yeah, I adore that show. It's my favorite. So yeah, really keen for more of that. But you said that Ethma was reading. You have to look up what he was reading.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
like to
trying to
read
find it
sci-fi as
now.
well, or is
And
it more of a
I
watching?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was a book called The Sparrow.
Okay.
And it came out in the late '90s. And it won the Arthur C. Clarke Award.
Uh
So
huh.
it was like pretty well renowned at the time. Um, but I had never heard of it back then, and it was so good. Um, so I read it, and then they put out it was this woman that wrote it, and she wrote a second book, like a sequel, and they were all both books were just so good. And so I recommended them to a friend of mine, and he read them, and he loved them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a nice mix between like sci-fi, and it also talked about like a little bit of religion and but then also science, and how do you reconcile religion and science together. And it was just a really well done couple books.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to look that one up. Excuse me while
Yeah,
I'm eating.
all good.
I'll give you one guess as to what I'm eating, Cap.
uh it sounds fruity. I'm gonna go with maybe some strawberries.
You would be wrong, and this would be the
My close.
segment where I assert my dominance by literally eating carrot cake on stream while I'm talking
No
to you.
way. I might have to hang up now. This is not good.
Yes, I've got a little cupcake here. It's very delicious. Because I not only like carrot cake, but carrot cake was my birthday cake this year. So
I don't know.
stick that
I
in your
guess we'll
pipe
have
and smoke it, sir.
we'll have to agree to disagree. I mean, what else can you do?
You could admit that you are wrong.
That will never happen. For me, cake is it's buttercream icing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
vanilla chocolate, like something I'll say kind of sweet and happy. It's not a vegetable. It's not a vegetable, and it's not cream cheese, and it definitely does not have walnuts in it. Like that's just not cake. It's not cake. It could be dessert. Like you might say, all right, that's dessert for some people,
Uh-huh.
but I don't see it.
Okay.
Not for me.
Okay. Well, that I suppose was the question: is that if not carrot cake, then what? Which you've sort of answered. Like, what would be your ideal like birthday cake?
My birthday cake almost every year is my wife found a recipe for it's actually banana cake, and it's like a vanilla banana cake with vanilla buttercream icing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then she also makes a really, really good from scratch homemade just chocolate cake with, and she makes the icing, she makes everything from scratch, and it's really, really good. But I'm definitely a cake and pie person, not an ice cream or anything else.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Have you ever had a chocolate cake that was made with avocados? And how do you feel about that?
No, I've not had a cake made from avocados, and again, I go back to like that's I guess I don't know if it's a vegetable. I think it might be a vegetable.
Mm.
It's on the border of fruit and vegetable.
Because quite often
To
when
me, it's
people are
more.
like dairy free, they'll use avocado and chocolate to make a mousse. So it becomes like a creamy, chocolatey. Like you can barely taste the avocado once you mix the two together. So I suppose it's like a sneaky little hack, I suppose, to get a dairy
Yeah,
free chocolate kind of frosting type situation.
I respect that. I totally respect that, and I understand that a lot of people can't eat certain things, and I'm all for like finding your space and enjoying what you want to enjoy. Um, but yeah,
So you won't yuck my carrot cake yum, except that you kind of are yucking my carrot cake yum.
I will totally up your carrot cake. Yes, I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I enjoy and as you know with my little collage that I made, I was digging into the lore that it's become like anyone like mentions you on the server and you start getting
Oh yeah,
carrot emojis. So it not only was the stance that you took that it became almost your personal meme to
it's
the
a
kind
thing
of
now. It's a total
yeah
thing. Yep.
to the level where Loggie's kind of my little mascot.
Oh yeah,
The carrot emoji follows you everywhere, so
it does, and I'm okay with it. I'm totally fine with it.
it's all meant
I'll,
in good
I'll
fun.
yeah, absolutely, and I will go to my grave with my stance on carrot cake. Like
Fair
I'm
enough.
totally fine with
But
it.
you did eventually find someone that agreed with you. I believe was
Oh,
it?
there's I would say more than one person. I would say we're bordering on like a 50-50
Okay. Well, the votes
pro and pro and
in the
con.
poll in my chat would disagree with you because we've got 7 votes and it's 100% hell yes for carrot cake. So
Well,
you're not with your people currently.
that doesn't say a lot about your fans, Gemma. Let me just say that. It just
Oh dear. You're not
it's
among
all good.
friends here in terms of
All
carrot
good.
cake.
Hmm.
I love it. But I do enjoy how we've got the the lore and the iceberg and the in jokes. Although sometimes it makes it a little bit kind of culturally impenetrable for new people to come into the server because there's just so much. I remember
Yeah.
my early days. Something as simple as somebody said WD for wood duck, and I stared at this WD and I just had no idea what people were talking about. And I had to ask. And I remember, I think it was actually Davim who replied and said WD means wood duck. And I was like, oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of jargon flying around and a lot of, even strategically, just kind of assume knowledge, I guess,
Yep.
with Wingspan. That it can be a little bit of a barrier for a new player to come on and kind of know. It can be
For
helpful
sure.
to kind of peruse the content. I knew some of the basic kind of core strategies, I suppose, from coming to the server from Flan's YouTube channel. So I sort of had a bit of a grounding that way in terms of
Mhm.
what tournament players tend to go for in terms of core strategies, like get your Wetlenberg and card draw as king and find your selection of cards and form a strategy from that, or even before OE dropped, it was your last round egg bombing
Right.
and things like that. But yeah, it can be a real steep learning curve, which I think is something that we should always keep in mind. When seeing newer people on the server, that they might be a tad overwhelmed and they might need a little bit of hand holding, and that's totally fine and everybody's welcome. So I would
Absolutely. And it's
I,
hard, I think, sometimes for new people to realize, like, everyone that's in the server, we've all been the new person at one point, like, right?
sure.
We've all had the same questions and we all didn't know what was happening. And
Hmm.
um, it's always good to remind them, like, hey, it's okay to ask questions and not know what's going on. And the
Yeah,
people in the server are just outstanding for that.
for sure. Yeah, all you have to do is ask, but it's kind of sometimes having the confidence to
Yep.
ask, and
Right.
knowing who to ask. Oh, I mean, everybody would be. I'm pretty confident that pretty much anybody would be open to hand holding a new person, but
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, they don't necessarily always know that. So
Yep.
no, it's good, and it's one of my favorite things to do, I suppose, is to when you've got the time. Not everybody always does, but you can still be friendly no matter how much time you've got to spend. But if you do have an extra few minutes to stop and say, hey, I see you, can I help you? Do you know how to
Hmm.
elo? Do you know how to do this? Do you not quite understand?
Right.
It's funny though, because they can really stick out like a sore thumb when they're not quite connected in when they're
Totally.
even something as simple as you know, setting up a game, head tails, same IGN, you know, I'll send, gee,
Yep.
good luck, have fun. And as soon as somebody's not doing those exact things in the exact way that we would normally do them, it's like, oh, this person's new, hold on a minute.
Totally.
So good. So yeah, I've sort of covered the sci-fi. You're a little bit into Star Wars as well. I did have a question. Have you seen Andor season 2? Because I haven't, and so I'm looking for somebody to shake
We
me by the
haven't.
collar and say, "What are you doing? You need to watch this right away." It might be Zoe.
Yeah, I've heard the reviews are so good on it, and I've
Okay,
heard it's so good, but we haven't gotten there.
haven't
We
got to it
just
yet.
finished. Fun Bun was late to the game on Last of Us, and
Okay,
so I had watched the first season while I was traveling, and then we just redid our home internet and stuff, and so we got a free year of Max and Netflix,
mm-hmm.
and so I said, hey, you guys should try this and see if you like it, and Fun Bun really liked it, and so we ended up watching the whole first season again, and we just finished season 2. So
Nice.
we're fresh and ready for something new. So we might jump on the Andor.
Yeah, cool. I really enjoyed the first season of The Last of Us, but haven't gotten to season 2 yet. I'm a bit of a crier, so I'm a bit reluctant because I kind of know what's coming there.
Hmm.
So I kind of wrap myself in a that doesn't happen. I can't know.
Right.
Maybe
It's
I'll be brave enough to watch it at some point. But
definitely not
yeah, it's
easy.
funny because Ben, when I had the stream with Determinator last week, I stole his computer during his, because this is my husband's gaming computer that I stream on, and so I have
Mm.
to arm wrestle him off of it to stream. And one night I kicked him off it so I could stream with Determinator, and he sat down and fired up The Last of Us Part 2, and so he's playing that at the moment on PlayStation. So
Gotcha.
I'm sure I'll sort of absorb some of that storyline in the background by kind of osmosis, and maybe then emotionally deal with what's going to happen.
Yep.
But I do like a good zombie thing. I have
Oh,
been,
I'm a big zombie guy. Yeah.
yeah, known in the past. I mean, The Walking Dead, kind of the first kind of four or five seasons. I was really into
Yep.
that.
Hmm.
Um, Even just the really kind of fun ones, like the movie that came out a few years back, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Hen's a really big Jane Austen girl like I am, but she hadn't seen that one, and I'm just like, well, yeah, but that was a real collision for me of two of my interests, which happens occasionally, that two things that I like collide, and I'm like, yes, I'm 100% in this. So it was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies all the way for a little while there.
That's cool.
Um, In terms of other sci-fi, I do like some of the more kind of thrillery sort of ones. I
Hmm.
need to get into Severance because I know that that is definitely my vibe. But I have only seen a couple of episodes of that. But I can see that that's kind of the psychological sci-fi thrillery kind of genre that I do enjoy. There was a show a few years back called Counterpart that had J.K. Simmons in it, and I really liked that. Yeah, I was really sad that that got cancelled. I was hoping it would get another season, but yeah, I like those sorts of shows sometimes that you wouldn't necessarily think of as sci-fi outside of their initial concept. Like Counterpart
Right.
had a bit of a parallel worlds thing, but once you get into that, you sort of the sci-fi kind of gets shoved a little bit to the background, and it's more about kind of psychological stuff. Which I
And yeah,
think
the
a lot
interplay
of good
between characters.
sci-fi is like that. That
Hmm.
the kind of premise, the sciencey stuff, is kind of um, not necessarily front and center. It's more the
Right.
framework that makes you think about the commentary that it's making about society and culture and things like that. Hen's asking, have you all seen Dark Matter? I'm aware of it, but I haven't seen it. But I'm willing to be pushed into watching it for sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. I
Um,
have seen. I watched the first handful of episodes of um, the show you were just talking about.
yeah, Counterpart. Mm.
No, the one before that.
Severance.
With Adam
Yeah,
Scott Severance.
yeah.
Yeah, and I liked it, and I haven't continued yet because we got back into Last of Us, but I'm definitely
Okay.
gonna pick that one back up.
Maybe we should be doing a sort of a buddy watch on
Yeah,
on some of
exactly.
these shows. Yeah, I'll pick your brain
But I
on
haven't
once
seen
we
Dark
both
Matter.
watch
Yeah.
them. Another one that I enjoyed a few years ago was The Man in the High Castle. I thought that was
Hmm.
really well
Okay.
done, and similarly along that sort of a genre as well. But yeah, mainly Star Trek, and Star Trek is the comfort
Love
go
Star
to.
Trek.
Yeah, and
Yep.
even that kind of slightly dorky late '90s Star Trek, like your Next Gen and your Voyager, and yeah, that's kind of my happy place, my bread and butter. Like that's kind of what I was raised on, so I love it a
Nice.
lot.
And Picard was good too. That was on like Paramount for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more than some people did in those first couple of seasons, and then that third season where it was like extreme fan service. Like I enjoyed it as well, but maybe not to the extreme heights of some of the other fandom. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, I
And then
enjoy.
yeah, Zoe just talked about the three body problem, and that was a set of books that Ethma read, and he loved them. I read the first book and I liked it. I read the second book and I couldn't get through it. It was
Okay.
literally, um, I would say, one of maybe three or four books in my whole life that I didn't finish.
Okay.
I think it was just too heavy for me. I just
Mm.
I couldn't get through it.
Sci-fi can be a bit like that sometimes, in that the original premise can fill up and really nail it with the first book, and then it's like
Hmm.
where do you go with the second book? I'm not sure it's a good example, but I did enjoy. Last year, I read Ready Player One, and I have
That was good.
no interest in Ready Player Two. Just
Right.
not interested, because what else can they
Me too.
really have to say? Like,
Yep.
uh, yeah, and there are a few like that, I think, in terms of sci-fi. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, have you got another question for me there, Mr. Cap?
Sure. Sure. I would say one of the things I was interested in was just from I guess movies and actors and actresses. Like, what are your? I know you talk about sci-fi, but what are your other loves as far as movies and actors that you like?
Yeah, well, I sort of mentioned a little bit before that I tend towards the kind of historical drama kind of side of things if it's not sci fi. You would think I would be more into steampunk because that would be a bit of a collision of the two, but I am not necessarily. Like, I'm not averse to steampunk, but um, I do like I do like a good police procedural, like a cop show, but like a cop show with a twist. So
Mm.
I tend to like your shows like Castle or iZombie, funnily enough, was another fun one, or The Mentalist, or Psych, or Elementary. Just those like cop shows that have those particular kind of story beats, but they've got a bit of a twist in terms of kind of characterization, that there's kind of an outsider helping the police solve the mystery, the murder. So they tend to be on pretty high rotation in our household, particularly Elementary with Johnny Willie Miller and Lucy Liu.
Nice.
So yeah, in terms of TV, that tends to be the way that we go. In terms of movies, not a massive movie person over the years. I tend to come out for the ones that really kind of align heavily with my interests, but not. I struggle to get adventurous with movies. It sometimes takes somebody to go, you need to see this movie for me to get up and do it, in terms of if it's not something dead within my kind of normal go-to kind of thing. Yeah, I was big into Marvel movies when they were a big thing, so I enjoyed those for what they were, as a bit of fun. Yeah, not sure, but yeah, really big in Jane Austen and historical stuff, and things like Downton Abbey, and there's the American sort of one, The Gilded Age, which is more the recent one, I suppose, it's coming out, and yeah, it
Cool.
depends. I can have quite an eclectic taste, but I can also very heavily stick to what I like, and refuse to budge from it sometimes. So
Well, we end up liking what we like and kind of stick with that, and that's good. Fine.
yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you about baseball because I have questions, right? That wasn't a very impressive segue, but I'm looking at my notebook and there's all this stuff about baseball, and I'm not quite understanding, because you're from Philly, so Pennsylvania, but you go for the Red Sox, right? Which are based in Boston.
Boston.
Do you have any particular tie to Boston, or is that just like how did that happen? Like,
Yeah, I grew up just outside New York City, so
okay,
about 2 hours north of where I live now. And my father was a baseball giant, which at the time was New York Giants. It was
okay,
back in the 50s. Willie Mays, and he was anti-Yankees. And so I grew up anti-Yankees, and
right.
the Red Sox were like their arch enemies. So I just kind of fell into the Red Sox at the time.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, because I understand that like you go for a team because you've always gone for the team, but I'm interested in like how that starts. And I know it sometimes starts with a family member, but I was wondering what the connection was there, because I'm looking at Philly and I'm just like, well, wouldn't that then be like the Phillies or the Pirates?
It would probably be the Phillies if I'd grown up here.
Right.
But yeah,
Which
but
is
it's
going to be
weird
my
because my
question.
young
Like, if the Red Sox are outside of the equation, are you going Phillies or Pirates? Which sort of
it would be
answers.
Phillies probably, but the younger son, Fun Bun, ended up somehow, and we don't know how or why, but he became a Washington Nationals fan.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, like it was back in like I'll say 2013, 2014 for Halloween. Um, I was dressed as a Red Sox person, and he was dressed as a Nationals person, and one of our neighbors were both, were just like, "What are you doing? Like, your whole family's messed up. Like, how can you, like, you're wearing Red Sox, he's wearing Nationals, like,
Yeah.
it's just wrong. What are you doing?"
Mm.
Um, and it's just kind of the way it works sometimes. Like, you just never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Like, in terms of Aussie rules football, I, for a little while there in kind of late primary school, so I was probably like 10, 11, I started going for the Geelong Cats, which is a Melbourne team. And it was pretty much just because they were the Cats. But then I like knew a little bit about the players. But it's like sometimes the in can be really like really threadbare, and then once you're in because you got to commit, right? That's how it works. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't really matter how it started, but once it started, you can't flip flop, right? It's not what you can do.
Exactly. Once you're tied in, you're tied in.
Yeah, but I was looking and I was thinking about baseball from an Australian perspective, and it's really, I'm sure you might be aware, but it's really not a thing here. It's really hard to compete with cricket. Cricket being one of our main two sports. It's Aussie rules in the winter and it's cricket in the summer, and it's a little bit rugby down the east coast, like Brisbane and New South Wales in Sydney. But apart from that, it's really Aussie rules football and it's cricket. And so things like baseball become quite a niche sport where they'll have a following, but it's like a really small, passionate following. So I was interested to discover that there is, well, I knew that there was a national league and a state league for baseball, right? And on my dad's side, there's a little bit of a connection to baseball. I believe my grandfather, my dad's dad, played baseball, and my dad was a bit into it as a young man. But there's actually a national, where the national teams play in Adelaide. The stadium is actually like 13 kilometres, like 8 miles west of where I live, and I had absolutely no idea until I looked it up.
Wow.
I've probably driven past it and didn't even know what it was. But the Adelaide Giants is the national team, and then there's a bunch of sort of state level and just sort of other divisions and things going on. But I really would have to admit to my massive ignorance about all things baseball, because it's just not something that you hear about often unless it's in an American context. From, as I said earlier, the American media and things like that. Because I was even thinking about, if somebody put a gun to my head and asked me to name 5 American baseball teams, I would really struggle. Like, Red Sox, yes. Like, I have heard of the Red Sox, and that would have probably been very high on my memory recall. The Yankees, yes. Maybe the Mets. But then I would start to get stuck, I think. And what else? The Dodgers, yeah, maybe. But then I was very confused, and I was looking that up because I was like, wait, the Dodgers are in LA? And that was a little kind of rabbit hole last night. I was like, oh, okay, things happened. And again, that links back to Billy Joel, because we didn't start the fire. I like know all the lyrics to that, and so it's like Brooklyn's got a winning team, Davy Crockett, Peter Pan. And so I'm like, Brooklyn has a baseball team. What is it?
Yep. No, he talked about it was funny. I was listening to an interview where they were talking to him about that song, and he says, like, the lyrics are fine. Like, I'm happy with what I did there, but the music of it, like, he's like, that wasn't my finest moment.
Yeah,
like, when he's
bit.
putting that song together. But it's been I think it's been like a long lasting song. Like, it's you still hear it on the radio here, at least in the US, fairly often, like on the older, radio stations and such. It's just kind of funny.
One of my all-time favorite things to sing when I'm drunk. It's good fun.
Totally.
Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, baseball. I'm intrigued, but I know pretty much nothing. But I respect a hardcore following of sport, even if I don't do that myself. I'm a little bit go sports team over here. I have to say, different times of my life I've been interested, but not so much. As a middle-aged adult as I am now, I suppose. People will talk about this team and that team and whatever tournament's on and etc. And I'm like, huh? Oh, okay, yeah. But okay, I did go to a sports game last Sunday. So
Where'd you go?
about a week ago, I went to a netball game. Have you ever heard of netball?
I've not heard of netball. Is that like
Ah,
handball or is it different?
it's kind of like basketball, but not. Not much like
Okay.
basketball. So it's played on a court with a goal with a net, but it's like a freestanding pole with a net. It's not got a backboard. It's something I was talking about during the stream I had with Ducks Usually Lie. So it's a whole thing. But anyway, I was at this netball game. The National Leagues, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, are the Adelaide team, funnily enough, and their colour is pink, and so it's very geared towards girls and women's as a women's sport, because it's the core sport that school age girls play, and are encouraged to play. So I mean, I played netball as a young girl, and
That's cool.
it sort of all started flooding back to me. And they're doing a lot of cool stuff because they're sponsored by the construction industry training board, so they're doing a lot of promotional stuff, trying to encourage young women essentially into construction careers, which is yeah, it's a cool way. It's a cool thing, because I didn't actually mention, I work in technically in construction myself. I do admin for a solar installer. So we work particularly with new builds with a builder in South Australia to get solar installed. It's actually a standard inclusion with a new build with a particular builder here in South Australia. It's probably one of the first builders to kind of ever do that, to like, as a standard inclusion with your house, you get a solar system, which is pretty cool in terms of
That's awesome.
the renewable industry. So it was interesting when you said that you have a kind of link to solar yourself, because it's not like a passion career for me, but I can get very passionate about it. So I could actually weirdly talk your ear off about solar, even though before I had this job I knew nothing about solar and came to it from a very admin kind of pathway. But yeah, they were doing some cool stuff with that kind of construction and outreach to women to encourage more participation in those sorts of industries, and more towards the atmosphere at the game. The vibe was very strange. I hadn't been to many sports games in kind of my own living memory. It'd been a long time since I'd been to a sporting event, right? And so I was trying to remember whether it was normal, but it was a very one-sided in terms of the crowd home game. So it was the home game for the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and it was all like, because netball is it's almost like tennis, like it's about breaking the center, the assumed point kind of way that it's supposed to go. Like if it's one team's center pass, they're probably going to get the goal, but it's about the potential of an intercept and flipping that and breaking the center. And so it's very much like, this team's center, they're going to get the goal. Next, the other team's center, they're going to get the goal. And so it's always like goal on one side, goal on the other side, goal on one side, goal on the other side. But suddenly there's a break and that's exciting, and then the score is actually going to increase properly for one team. But this game that I went to, it was very, very one-sided in terms of when the opposing team, when the away team got a goal, it was like dead silence. And I'm sitting there like funny, politely clapping for every one of the away team's goals. And I felt really awkward about it because, but it was like insane, like, yeah, when the Thunderbirds got a goal. And I'm like, they were probably going to get the goal. It was their center. Like, it was nothing that special.
It's not that big a deal.
But the whole time, like the play, the kind of hosting vibe was like, whenever the opposing team breaks and potentially had the intercept, it was like defense, and like T-Birds, T-Birds, like the whole time, but only on the one side, on the T-Birds side.
Right.
So it was never cheering for the other team, the New South Wales Giants. And I just found the whole thing a little bit like awkward and overwhelming. And
I can see that.
Sports, man. I don't know. So I didn't know whether that was maybe a bit of an American thing, because the whole like, let's go T-Birds, let's go, and like it all felt very American baseball game, and like
it's very American. The home team crowd will cheer for their team, and it's very similar to that.
So I suppose when I was thinking baseball and I was thinking sports and things last night, I was like, I've got a recent connection to that. But it was very much like I felt like a bit of an alien just observing the whole thing, because it wasn't my normal kind of situation to be in.
Right.
So the whole thing was pretty funny. Very good. Hen's saying I've got to learn the baseball teams with the bird names. So the Cardinals, the Orioles, the Blue Jays, the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, I know that one.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I should do. See, with these streams, I'm just like learning about lots of different things all the time. It's lots of fun. That's kind of the fun part for me, because
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, I do my little like research. Like I'll say, oh, what are we gonna talk about, broad strokes, and then I'll go off and look into some things. Like last week it was moths, right? And I learned some things about moths, which was really cool. So. Yeah, I didn't sort of have to probe you for it, because I kind of had that interview that you did with Scared that I could kind of pick apart and ask some follow-up things. But yeah, it's what I really get a lot of joy out of doing this from, is kind of broadening my own knowledge. So yeah,
it's a huge part of it. Yeah,
for sure,
definitely a huge part. What are some of the things that you really like to eat? Like, what if it was your birthday coming up, or like you got to pick the meal that you could have for a special occasion, what would you have?
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was always tacos. I was always begging my mum for tacos, I remember. So whenever we got tacos, it was like, yes, I won the battle and I got tacos. As an adult, not so much. I'm pretty open when it comes to food, and then I'm pretty easily pleased, really.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Good way to be.
Yeah, I don't have a very long list of foods that I don't like. So if something's well done, I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily adventurous when it comes to food, in terms of being pushed out of my comfort zone to try things. But when I do try new things, I do quite often enjoy them. So it's kind of a thread that goes through everything. It's like media and music, and like if you push me to try something, I'll generally like it, but the urge to try something new isn't always there. So that's fun. But I am big on anything that is chocolate hazelnut. So I can't buy Nutella, because I will sit on the couch and eat it with a spoon. I can't resist. It's too dangerous. So anything that is chocolate hazelnut flavored is my jam. Pretty much. So
when you were a kid, like the tacos that you had, were they like beef tacos or chicken or a mix?
Yeah,
or...
so minced beef, coming out of a packet, with the seasoning, and you get the usually hard shell tortillas that you just like warm up in the oven, and it'd just be your usual suspects: your lettuce, tomato. My mum would put kidney beans in with the beef mince mixture.
Oh, where's beans on toast?
Yeah. So some kidney beans in there, and then sacrilege to authentic Mexican cuisine, you'd put the sour cream and the cheese on the top. There's an authentic taco place in Port Adelaide, not far from where I live, where we went one time, and this really cool lady who runs it, but she sat us down and gave us these incredible, like beautiful, gorgeous tacos, but she said, do not ask me for sour cream, do not ask me for cheese, we don't do that here. And it was this real like PSA, like don't come at me with your fake Mexican white people crap. I respected it, honestly.
Oh, that's totally cool. Yeah. I
Um,
will say when we have tacos, we usually do soft shell,
yeah,
like the
I
flour
do
or
tend to go
corn.
soft these days, but as a kid, it was definitely a hard shell affair.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
I'm a huge fan now of the refried beans, like on the
mm,
inside of the tortilla, and then the meat in the middle of that, and kind of wrap it up and have beans and meat together.
yeah,
So nice.
really good. Um, yeah, it's good stuff. I do enjoy some Mexican. I feel that if Taco Bell was in Australia, which it isn't, I would be a big Taco Bell fan. I suspect. Hmm. Um, Paying more attention to the chat, we've got Cap. Have you guys gotten any of the recent Terraforming Mars expansions, like Prelude 2, Automa, new maps, etc.?
We have not. We are still playing base game on the Terraforming Mars,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
which is a super fun game, I gotta say. And we've also gotten back into Catan, like the base Catan game.
Oh, good.
And apparently, yeah, ETHMA found um, there's also an online forum for that, so you can play on your phone now against other folks as well, which is always fun.
Yeah, I played a little bit of online Catan, but kind of dropped it because yeah, I didn't really find. I don't know, something about Catan is really tactile for me that doesn't really translate into online. It's the rolling of the dice and the putting
Hmm.
down of the little roads and yeah, I am a big Catan fan, and I brought it up with I think it was Alex a few weeks ago, and he's like, no, it's not a good game, and I'm like, no, it's the best. Shut up, you don't know anything. Um, but I have Star Trek Catan. It's one of my favorite things.
No way.
Yeah, it's so cool. And instead of roads, they're like little enterprises. So you build like a little shipping lane of enterprises.
Oh, I gotta get that.
Yeah,
That sounds
it's
awesome.
really cool. And that really adds something to the game because there are these like special character cards that you use during your turn as a special power to kind of trigger different things and sort of play strategically slightly differently. So they really add something to the game, and some of them are a bit OP. Like the Dr. McCoy card is about development cards, and it lets you pay wrongly for the development card, so you can pay with a resource that is wrong, and you can also. I think it should be or, but it's sorry, I just hit my mic. I'm getting excited. I think it should be like or do one or the other, but it's both, and you can take the
Mm.
first three cards off the development deck and pick which one you want
Oh
out of the
wow,
top three.
that's
So
nice.
it's super powerful, and yeah, it's a lot of fun because you're always just fighting to get the McCoy card, particularly if you're in a big development card strategy kind of a
Right,
game.
right.
But
That's
it's a lot
cool.
of fun, and those special character cards, they've made a version of them for the original game as well. I think they're called helpers, Catan helpers. Shout out to Hen, our resident hamburger helper. Um, so yeah, the helper cards really add something to the game that I love in terms of Catan. It's one of my all-time favorites. Never
That's
played
cool.
Catan, Zobi. What are you doing,
That's
buddy?
crazy. I thought he was a big yeah, big board gamer. That's nuts.
Zobi's like, maybe if they get a Star Wars one, maybe he'd play it then.
Well, if they have
Boo
the
Star Trek.
Star Trek, it's kind of close enough.
Mm. You never played Catan either, Hen. Oh, heathens. Heathens. What are you
That was
doing?
probably the first like engine building kind of
Eurogame, yeah.
thought provoking game that I played.
Mm,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm not convinced that this game is going very well for me, and you've got a lot of very nice stuff over there. But I am glad I got this cuckoo down, so that's
The Cuckoo's,
something.
yeah, doing some work for you.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing really. I pulled Backyard Birder with the Corsican Nuthatch, which is a real bummer.
That's always, yeah, that's terrible.
What do I need? I need a ground nest for mechanical engineer. So it might be this Kia. Might be the way to go. Let's roll again and see if we can get better luck.
Bunch of nectar for you.
You can have an egg.
Oh, thanks.
I'll allow it. Good stuff. What else have I got on here? Yeah, I'm kind of getting tapped out for stuff that I looked into. I did just have a kind of passing comment because I saw something in your asking questions of somebody what their preferred ripeness of a banana is, and I thought that was such a random question, and I respected it. So I wanted to A, answer that, and B, shame you for your opinion because I think you're wrong.
Oh dear. Okay.
Because that's what we're all about here. But I know also that I am very strange in that I eat my bananas like green and one step above chalky. So they're like really starchy.
Okay.
Like my bananas are like always a bit of a coin flip as to whether like when you break it, it's actually gonna like break at the top because it's so I'm a little bit of a banana whisperer in that I'm always in search of that perfect like one level above chalky banana, and if it's a few levels more ripe or one level less ripe than that, I feel like I've failed at my particular banana roulette that I've played that day. And so I can be very passionate about bananas.
It's definitely a touchy subject, and I know both my kids are very green banana people.
Yeah.
And I respect that, and I think I might be leaning more towards that now.
Okay.
I think when they get too yellow, it definitely gets a little yucky.
Sure.
But I think when they're too green, it's like when you can't open the top, it is maybe too.
Yeah, well, I don't like them when you literally can't open the top, but it was like maybe yesterday you couldn't open the top, then the next day they're perfect.
I'd probably wait like 3 days to open the top.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Fair enough. We've got some opinions from the chat. Zoe saying I like when they're just starting to turn yellow, so maybe. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm with Zoe on that one.
Okay. Or like half green, half yellow, which is a little bit more towards my side of things. So we've got some starchy banana people. I like it. It's good. But as soon as they've got spots, it's straight in the bin or into the banana bread for me. There's nothing worse than an overripe banana. You cannot make me eat it. Oh dear. Very good. Yeah, I'm really not convinced that I've got this game. Might depend on what you picked up with that spotted owl, perhaps.
That was Forest Data, and I'm not, which I hit min on, and now I'm just debating what I do here.
It's always nice to pull a forest, like a data analyst card mid-game that you haven't effed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Hen saying banana ice cream time, yeah.
Oh, banana ice cream's good.
I'm sure I've had a lot of banana ice cream, to be honest.
You've never had it?
No.
Oh, wow. It's really
not
good.
Not often, anyway.
Banana chocolate ice cream together. Banana chocolate or banana peanut butter. Really good ice cream.
Yeah, texture is important too with bananas.
Sure. No
doubt. What is my plan here? My plan is to play the Kia, finish Mechanical Engineer, and hopefully get a monster bonus card that I can't think of right now that I would be absolutely nailing.
The wheat eating one you do pretty well. 2, 4, 6. You have 7 of those. Not 6.
How much food should I toss? Maybe everything except one. That is 5 0-point bonus cards.
No way.
That's
Oh,
devastating.
that's harsh.
That's the
It's
opposite of
really,
nothing but net.
that is awfully harsh.
That's rough, man. Ugh. I bet that if I'd spent my last food, that would have been the good one.
Mm.
That is sad trombone. Um, can I even do anything with any of them? I could lay eggs twice and get 2 points off of breeding manager.
Oh, that's terrible.
That is really bad. Um, that might be the best I can do.
Oh, Jenna, I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, that last food was definitely the one. It's okay. I'll take it on the chin. It's karma for me trolling you so hard with my carrot cake cupcake. I feel that
Yeah, there you go.
the bird gods are displeased, so I might as well finish my delicious cupcake. Eat my feelings.
Hmm. So, do you like your carrot cake with the walnuts in it, or do you like it without the walnuts?
Walnuts all the way.
Okay.
Is it like a hatred of walnuts in general, or just
Hmm.
in? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big nut person. Like, I
That
don't
could
mind
make things
peanuts.
difficult.
Yeah, but then to me too, like the icing on it, the cream cheese icing is just not. It's not icing. It's cream cheese. But we don't have to go back through the whole thing, but everyone knows where I stand on that.
Oh, there goes the eagle. Yeah, that's fair.
Like, well, yeah, one more plate, one more bird to play,
Um,
and we'll be done.
would I rather? I might draw
Zobi's down with.
cards.
Zobi says he's down with pecans in his ice cream now. I don't know about that.
Hmm.
Pecans are another nut that I just can't get on.
Hmm. Are there any acceptable nuts in your book?
Peanuts. I can
Peanuts.
do peanuts. I
Okay.
and for the longest time, I couldn't even do like a Snickers bar because it had nuts in it. But now I can do that. But like cashews, walnuts, just not for me. And I know it's weird. Like I know everyone else, most other people like it, but I can't do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Um. All right. Well, I got a cash, so that's something.
So what bird do you just absolutely love to see in your opening hand? Like what bird pops in your hand and you're like, that's the one I need.
Um. I mean, it's pretty basic to say wood duck, but it's generally something card draw. Like, obviously, it's good to see a raven, but it has been, in my opinion, well mitigated by having to delay it around. Um,
Agreed. Yeah.
Maybe even these days a killdeer or a Franklin's gull because it's been unhouse ruled. Um, I think it's I think it's fair that it got unhouse ruled, but it's also good.
Hmm.
But it's like anything. It's about what you've got to support the powerful card, I suppose. Because I've had games where I've had a white stalk but nothing else to go with it, and so getting the two eggs and a tray flip, it's like you could do something similar in the wetlands if you had two egg gainers and you know like it's about what you build around it. So Wood Duck is powerful, but if you're solely relying on that few card draw, then that can be rough. And I've had some rough Wood Duck games where I've had no wetlands and I've been drawing
100%.
garbage
Yep.
with Wood Duck and just not enough cards. But as soon as
That's
you
not
get
enough cards.
something else like a tuck and draw or a catbird to copy it, and then that really kind of turbocharges it, and then it really unlocks the OP-ness of those birds. So I think there's an argument to be made that no bird by itself is totally OP, in OE at least, with the lessened grasslands. That it depends. It depends. I mean, it's like every bird is situational, but
Right.
if you have an OP bird and absolutely nothing else that synergizes with it, you're going to be in trouble. And you're perhaps not going to compete with a player who has a bunch of kind of mid-tier birds, but like birds that synergize really well, that they've formed a really good strategy around. So, yeah, that would be my opinion. I suppose the main answer would be a wood duck or a white stork. Yeah, it would be kind of my top couple that I like to see in my opening hand. But yeah, there's a bunch of others that you like to see, like a galah or something a little bit flashy that instills fear and dread in your opponent.
Yeah, galah though for me early can be helpful to other people, so I'm always kind of conflicted on that one.
Yeah, that is true.
You're giving away free food, but I do like to see that in my hand at some point.
There's always the slight fear that they might come up with a Canada goose or a sandy
right, exactly, or a crane. Yeah. Zobi's talking. They're talking about roasted peanuts in the chat, and so it is kind of funny, Zobi, that I am one of the very few, I think, that eats the shell of the peanut when I eat the peanut in the ballpark.
Although I don't know why I just gave you a worm. Enjoy your worm.
Okay.
I mean, I could be that like tomato is a tomato is a fruit kind of person, but peanuts aren't technically nuts, so perhaps that's why you like them, that they're legumes. I would be the one, yeah. Oh dear. Hen, I can see that you and Zobi are freaked out by the eating of the peanut shells. Are you also freaked out by people eat apple cores? Not that I am one, but I'm interested if that's a similar vibe.
Yeah, I've not eaten apple cores. That's not something for me. But I respect people that do it.
It is very not wasteful. It's like nose to tail eating, but for vegetables. So I respect it. I enjoy that I didn't even qualify for that third end of round, the fish and rat one. That's an achievement, I have to say. I'm quite proud of that in a way. That's like the game I played the other day where I maxed out Platform Builder, but I didn't play any platform nests. It was all star nests.
No way. It's all stars? That's awesome.
I was very proud of that. I love that. And then I pulled Mechanical Engineer and life was good.
That's Mechanical Engineer with star nest. You can't go wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're going to crush me. It's fine. I accept it. I always zoom right through the scores. Like you're one of those people.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it was decently close. But I think with the engine I had, it was just hard. I think to beat that.
That's okay. It happens.
Stroke Raven.
The Kia did not help. The Kia didn't help. It's fine.
I can't believe the Kia gave you that many 0 points. That's just crazy.
It's fine.
So disappointing.
Oh dear. Lots of fun.
So what is it like 11 a.m. for you now, or?
Yeah, actually, pretty well bang on. So. Yeah,
Okay.
we could do
So-
another quick one if you're keen. We could pay more attention to the game this time. Or maybe
yeah, I could do
you
one
were
more.
the whole time, and I wasn't. I'm going with
We
that.
could do
That's
that.
the reason I won. You won.
Have you had breakfast yet?
I've had 2 carrot cake cupcakes, so you know,
That's breakfast.
all my food groups have
There you
been
go.
hit, so I'm good.
That's too funny.
I'm not a massive breakfast person, so I'm okay.
Yeah, I was listening to one of your recent streams and you said that you're
I opt out of
A-
of the morning
a late-
entirely.
a late morning person and working like at noonish.
Yeah, thankfully, with my health stuff, our household is set up in a way that I'm able to work just part-time, so
That's cool.
a real privilege that I'm grateful for. So yeah, I just work 12 to 4 most days.
Nice.
I'm that person in the office who rocks up at lunchtime and everyone goes, "Oh, Jenna's here." But actually, they told me yesterday that it's actually, "Oh, Jenna's here. We better actually do some work because we frittered away our whole morning." So I'm kind of that person. Like, they work harder when I'm there just because of the way that works.
Mm-hmm.
So now that they've told me that, I'm picturing them just completely slacking off whenever I'm not there.
That's too fun.
Oh, Deb's here. Hey, Deb. How you going?
Hey.
I don't love this starting hand. What's in the tray? Oh, there's a rough.
There's some good stuff in the trade.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that whole tray is pretty damn good. So, is anyone else having a hard time hearing the audio? You're the first person that's mentioned it, so I would assume it's been okay. I didn't actually ask for feedback on that, but people aren't usually shy about telling me. Do I want bird can or behaviorist? I usually like a behaviorist game, and I may have the rough, so yeah, let's do that. Let's have
It's
a
always
fun
good for a few points.
behaviorist game. You had to turn it up all the way, so it's a little low, probably. Okay. I'll turn myself up slightly. Okay. Always tell me, by the way. Don't suffer in silence with bad wonky audio. Don't do it. Yeah, I'm gonna go 5-footer.
Oh boy.
Yeah, right back at you, Cap. What's your favourite starting bird? What do you like to see in your opening hand?
Pileated woodpecker
The
is
woodpecker. Okay.
That's my guy.
Forest engine staple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair enough. It's interesting. Do you like to see your opponent do a bit of what Hen calls a pileated shuffle in desperately trying to get a cavity nest down before you get too many double egg turns?
That's the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that.
It's amusing. Though I did have a game with someone a few weeks back where they very impressively resisted the pileated shuffle. Oh, I can talk about it actually because it was on my stream. It was Alex. And everyone's just like, ooh, he's resisting. He's just going to let Jenna have the 2 eggs a turn and not bother to get a cavity down. So that was that was a big flex. That was a power move. I'm not sure it worked. I can't remember the result of the game, but it was notable. What sort of starting hand do you got there?
Terrible. I mean, good birds, but nothing like it's a bunting, painted bunting, wood stork, brolga,
Okay.
Abbott's booby, and Cassin sparrow. So don't love it.
I'd be happy for you to take the brolga and give me eggs.
I know you would, and I think people really like the brolga, but I don't like giving away the eggs.
Yeah. Fair.
So I'm just gonna go 1 bird and 4 food.
Hey Michael, how you going?
See what happens.
Hen says she likes the Brolga in multi. And yeah, that's fair, I think. You can kind of.
Oh, sure. Totally.
So many things and so many strats change as soon as it's not 1v1. Oh, here's back. We're back on the Zobi doesn't like sharing thread. I enjoy. Zobi doesn't share his toys or his resources in Wingspan. Okay, first turn we are taking. Do I want the Nightingale or the Gnatcatcher? I think I want the Gnatcatcher. No eggy end arounds. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that, Zobi, and I forgot to ask it after your. You asked two questions at once, and I forgot the second one. Zobi's asking sushi, yes or no?
Sure. Both boys are big into sushi. I would say not as big, but I'll eat it. Like, and I'm happy to have it, but I don't go looking for it. That's I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can't resist the whipping cream. You can have the barn swallow. We're gonna get her. I'm ready to be heard again by dud bonus cards. Again, Deb, I'm big and brave, and I'm still on the bonus card train. Even though I had a really bad game before I went to bed last night, where I was only scoring 10 points off 5 bonus cards. It was extremely tragic. Extreme tragedy. Yeah, it's alright. Yay, food.
I picked up the common swift, so I'll be giving out a lot of worms.
Okay. Okay. I can work with that. Hen's asking, Cap, are you a do every tournament kind of person, or do you pick and choose which ones you want to play?
I am a do every tournament kind of person.
Nice, nice. Do you opt out of many, like just in terms of your schedule, or do you tend to get on board with all of them?
I get on board with all of them, and I can
You make
usually
it work.
my work, yeah, my work is pretty flexible, so I can
Nice.
yeah, usually work around stuff to make
Fair
sure I
enough.
can do it.
So you and Determinator probably every single tournament doing your
Yeah, pretty
thing.
much.
Yeah, in the
Yep,
trenches together.
exactly.
Love it. All right, I do want this barn solo now. Oh yeah, and I'll take that as well.
What's that?
Well, I really need to find food web expert because I'm pulling all these worm birds. I pulled violet green swallow and barn swallow.
Oh goodness,
I'm
that's
going
nice.
full swallow. That sounds kind of gross. Forget I said that. We want to play the rough for behaviorist.
Well, that'll be nice. 3 points in the first column. That's always a good start.
Well, it was 5 points because I got ecologist as well.
Right. Oh, that's nice.
There's been an update on the carrot cake poll. We've got
Uh-oh.
78% now for hell yes, and we've got a 11%, so one vote for sure I guess it's fine, and one vote for it's a crime against sweet treats. So
There you go.
you're being
And I didn't vote, so
slightly supported.
you can put 2 votes at the bottom one.
Um, oh, yeah, I need to lay eggs. That's fair.
So Jenna, do you play some Wingspan on the board at home or with friends, or are you mostly just online?
Yeah, just online. I would love to play more physical game, but it's a struggle to find people to play with me. It's the eternal struggle. Um, and the advantage of online is just not having to deal with the mega deck, right? It's just I'm too lazy to set it up at this stage because there's just too many cards, and yeah, I think I'm just lazy. I don't really have shuffling skills, so it's like I'll end up like pile shuffling or making somebody else do it, or
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm pretty bad that way. Um, oh, I did it again. This always happens to me with rough. Is that I want to tuck stuff, but I've got good cards in my hand that I don't want to tuck. That's why I'm looking forward to the new teal powers. The what is it? The brambling and the other one,
The Twite.
the twite, where it's
Yeah.
draw and then tuck instead of tuck and then draw.
Yeah, I like those too.
Yeah, that kind of solves my rough problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough out there, guys. Do I need both the swallow, the barn swallow, and the violet green swallow? Um, yeah, I think I should keep them. Oh, going wedgie, nice. And an early Abbott's booby. Okay, that's interesting. Did you keep your original bonus card?
I did. Yeah, I
Okay.
kept the original.
Michael admitted that he voted for the middle, and Deb is the one that agrees with you that it's a crime.
Nice, Dad.
Yeah.
I love that. Take the egg off the wedgie because he failed on his first try.
Oh dear.
I definitely do that. Like I'll punish the birds that don't do well by not giving them eggs or taking eggs away.
That's so rude.
It is what it is. You got to do it.
There you go, there's your friend.
Oh, that's nice.
Now I've got to do my pileated shuffle, but that's okay. It's okay, I'm prepared. Ooh. Got any extra questions for me there that you want to cross off your list?
What's your favorite place to travel to? Where have you been, like on holiday or vacation that you just want to get
Um,
back to or that you
it's
love the most?
pretty close tie between London and Amsterdam, actually. I've been to Amsterdam once and I didn't think I would like it. It was just somewhere that I went because my husband wanted to go. And I fell in love with it. I absolutely adored it. It was so pretty with the canals, and we were there in autumn, and so there were just fallen leaves. Like everything was kind of golden brown, and it was just really, it was really nice. And they have a really good maritime museum, and I love a good museum, particularly a maritime museum. And so I was kind of in heaven there, and we did the Van Gogh Museum and the Rembrandt House and the Anne Frank House. And yeah, we just had a good time. It was really good. And my favorite bowl of soup that I've ever had, this is really random, The best bowl of soup that I've ever had, I had at a museum in Amsterdam, just in their like museum cafe, like little
Wow.
eatery. Yeah, it was this bowl of just it was some sort of a creamy vegetable. It might have been chicken, but it was just perfect. Like it just hit the spot, and it was like a wintry kind of overcast kind of chilly day, and this bowl of soup just gave me life, and I remember that. Occasionally you have a meal that just sticks with you, and for some reason that
Oh
one
yeah,
always has. So
that's cool.
yeah. um,
What's your favorite color
Red.
and why?
It's red.
Red.
Yeah, it is.
What? What?
It was purple when I was a kid, but it turned to red. I just
Like
like.
scarlet red, or what color? Like what flavor red?
Yeah, it does tend to be kind of primary red, but a bit darker, like almost like Ferrari red, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I like things that are red. I don't know. They just kind of appeal to me. Like my
That's
dream
cool.
car, if you gave me unlimited budget, I think the dream car that I would buy would be like a little Fiat 500, the little kind of boxy European cars. Because I drove one, I rented one when I was driving around the UK by myself, and I really loved it. It was just a cute little car, and I would get a red Fiat 500. And one of my favorite little like stocking stuffer Christmas gifts that I ever got, my brother, who's big into cars and sort of knew what he was looking for, he got me that exact thing, like a little red Fiat 500, like a little matchbox car, and it sits on my bookshelf and I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not actually sure what attracts me about red. It just seems to be, yeah, it just tends to be items. Like if there's, I go to the store and there's a selection of handbags, and one of them's black and one of them's green and one of them's blue and one of them's red, I go, yeah, I want the red one. Um, and it's not even necessarily that it registers that I want the red one because red's my favorite color. It's just like it immediately like pulls me in, and I'm like, that's the one. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah.
That's cool.
I would say, how about you? But I did read that it was more like a burnt orange kind of a
Yep.
color
I'm an
that you
orange. Yep.
prefer, which is funny because that's probably kind of my least favorite color. I love red, but I hate orange. So that's interesting.
It's not for everybody.
How that works. So you love orange, but you hate carrot cake. Okay.
I like carrots. Like
You like
I eat carrots
carrots.
almost every day for lunch.
Okay. You just
But
don't think
just
they
not.
belong in a cake.
Yeah, it's not dessert at that point.
Hen saying you have to motivate the birds to do better via eggs, caches, and tucks. So she takes the
Exactly.
opposite stance to you, that she
No,
wants to
that's.
motivate them
Oh,
to do
I think
better,
that's opposite.
and you want to
Yeah, I mean,
punish them by you're the stick and Hen is the carrot.
I'll do both. I'll see. I gave him an egg to motivate him to be successful, and then but when he's not, then he gets the negative reinforcement.
Okay, fair enough. What am I trying to do? Do I want the avocet? I think I do want the avocet actually.
Oh, because it's red too. Yeah.
Let's do that. Oh no, Hen's saying she does do both. Okay, that's fair. The carrot or the stick, depending on what the situation calls for. Good stuff. How are we going, birds with tuck cards? If your wedgie hits, you might be in with it, but I wouldn't bet on that. Yeah, I think we need food. Did you get much time played in the beta for Asia?
No beta. Yeah, I
Yeah.
ended up not doing the beta, but we've been playing a lot since Ethan came home from college. We've been playing a lot on the board with the Asia, so
Right. So you've
I've
been
been getting
trading
my
up.
fill that way.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Nice. Is there a
we'll see how
particular
it goes.
kind of set of birds that you're sort of looking forward to, like the teals or just the general cash craziness of oh sorry hen the cache crazy no it's cache um the cash craziness of strategy in Asia. Do you have an opinion on the Great Indian Bustard Endangered Species Protector?
Oh, I like those. I like those a lot. The ones where you score the bonus card early, um,
Yeah.
they're huge. The other one that Ethan likes too, Ethma, is the blue one that you can cache food, and it's like a 9 point bird. I forget the name of it,
The
but
Sri
it's
Lankan magpie.
yeah, Sri Lankan magpie.
Mm.
That one. That's like his favorite. Like if he gets that, then he's like, game over. Let's go.
Nice. But I suppose you have to
Yeah.
have the food to be able to cache, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and a lot of these games, right, trying to run the forest engine. So
Yeah. It'd go hard with like a lorikeet and a catbird or something, yeah.
right, exactly.
There's the Swift. Yeah, fair. So you'll have two birds with tuck cards, but I can beat that.
Yeah, you can do that with the BGS.
Mm, do I want the cuckoo? Yeah, let's take the cuckoo. Or what would be smarter would be to leave the cuckoo and take it with the ruff. Mm, alrighty, alrighty.
It's turning into an interesting kind of game.
Yeah,
Two setups are
it's a
pretty
bit of a
sweet.
battle. I like it. I do want that Oriole. Thank you very much.
You can leave it for me if you want.
No, no, sir. 30 centimeters. Hello. Oh, thank you for the worm. Um, yeah, need some food. Don't like that feeder though.
So what do you have on tap for the rest of the weekend?
Not a lot. I've got my last MLW game. Well, hopefully not the last, because I am hoping. I'm sort of half hoping to get a wildcard spot, but the other half of me is like, I want to be done so I can just do Asia, because I didn't sign up for any other
Mm-hmm.
tournaments, so I've sort of cleared my
Gotcha.
slate. Um, but yeah, hopefully, I think I'm in with a shot for a wild card because I'm on 17-12 currently, which
That
might,
should get you in, I would say.
yeah, it might be
Yeah.
good enough. But 18-12 would be better, but we'll see. See what my opponent
Well,
has
good luck.
planned for me tomorrow.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. Which one am I going to play? Does doesn't really matter. Oh yes it does, because one I can afford and the other one I can't. Pay attention. Apart from that, not much, just chilling out, I think. I do need to get some birds. I've got a couple of plates that I want to paint with some birds, so I need to do the less fun part at the start, which is trace the birds and then trace them onto my plates. I'm not confident enough with my drawing skills to be able to do my own designs, so I do find a suitable bird outline on the internet and trace it onto my pottery. So people get really impressed with my bird paintings, which, you know, I take some of that. I do a good job of them, but I do trace the bird. So I have to keep telling people that to give me slightly less artistic credit.
They're still so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, I mean, for as a casual observer, it doesn't matter how you do it. Like, they're just really nice. So
yeah, I would hate for people to think that I was trying to take credit for somebody else's design. I guess is the anxiety there.
Right.
But, no, I enjoy it, and I enjoy giving away my pottery. That kind of makes my soul happy. I surprised my coworker yesterday. I gave her a mug. I just kind of sneaky left it on her desk, and she found it like half an hour later, and she looks up at me over the cubicle kind of divider, and she's like, "Is this for me?" I'm like, "Yes, it's for
That's
you.
sweet.
You bought me lunch yesterday. You can have a mug. Everybody gets a mug." No, it's good fun. What are you doing over there? Oh, canvas back, so I'll get some cards maybe. That would be pleasant.
Yeah, you should have one coming.
Be pleasant. Yeah, what am I gonna put? I'm doing the behaviorist math currently. What to put where. I've got some lovely colour options, but where to put them all is the... Actually, that scrub fowl might be a good play, because I've got lots of ground nests. So let's put the cuckoo in the grassland. So I think we take food again. Okay, it's not quite what I wanted. Don't think I want the fairy wren. Oh, this afternoon, I don't know. I might be worn out after this. I might take a nap. It's bad.
There you go.
I got up about 2-3 hours earlier than I would have, so. Thank you for the egg. How are we going at the end of round? 7 apiece currently. Okay. I think let's go cuckoo, just in case you do lay eggs. I'll happily take more free eggs.
But yeah, worst case, you're getting another column of behavior. Yeah.
What do I need for mechanical? Platform nests. Yeah. Oriole might save me.
Yeah, the Oriole's so good.
chat's been quiet. Are you all kind of hibernating, saving up your energy for Asia hype? Because that is gonna be a big hype train next week.
It's going to be huge. It is getting late for the folks in the U.S. It's getting,
Yeah,
at least
that
on the
is
East
true,
Coast,
actually. Yeah.
we're running into bedtimes.
Mm. Um,
That's a big behaviorist. You got 9 points.
yeah, we're doing good. It's all happening.
Do you like to cook?
I can cook. I don't so much these days. Ben, my husband, kind of took that on a few years ago. He's a good
Nice.
one. He kind of recognised that it was taking a lot out of me to do that for the household, and he kind of had an interest in developing his cooking skills as well, which he has very admirably leveled up over the last couple of years. He's a very good cook now. Um,
Nice.
his ears are probably burning. So yeah, he does tend to do the meal planning and the grocery shopping and the cooking most of the time, and I will swoop in and get a gold star on the odd occasion that I do take the reins and do dinner.
What's the favorite thing that you like that he makes, and then vice versa? What's your favorite thing to make?
Yeah. Favorite thing that he makes. Trying to remember. I mean, the absolute favorite thing is pancakes.
Okay.
He makes me pancakes on a Sunday morning sometimes, and it's the best thing ever. Um,
Nice.
but he's very weird because he puts um, HP House of Parliament. It's a British sauce, a brown sauce. He puts that on his pancakes, so he's very strange, and mustard. So
Mustard?
yeah, mustard and HP brown sauce on his pancakes.
Wow.
He's a very strange boy. But thankfully we have a pancake mix that we use that you can dress up either savoury or sweet, so it works for both of us. So I'll go traditional butter and proper maple syrup, and he'll do his own thing across the table, and I'll just avert my eyes. Um, that tends to be the favourite thing. He's been doing a lot of cool things lately, though. Quite often we'll do. We love our air fryer, so we quite often will do
Oh yeah.
like a roast pork or something like that in the air fryer. We have a big
Mhm.
oven, like a 90 centimeter, um, really wide oven, but we actually rarely use it. We air fry most things that would call for being oven baked. So, in terms of things that I cook, these days I tend to come in and do like a batch. Like I'll do a bolognese or a big pot of chili or something like that that can be made into other things or portioned out to be put in the freezer. So then we'll use the chili on like baked potatoes or nachos or with rice or something like that, or the bolognese. I'll make a pasta bake or a lasagna or
Nice.
yeah. So it sort of turns into other things. But I'd say I'm pretty proud of my bolognese. I tend to make it. I wouldn't try and claim that it's authentic, but I think I do manage to make it in a way that is very kind of rich and flavorful because I do the full on like reduction over 3-4 hours and
Nice.
yeah, really kind of try and condense and intensify the flavors in there. So I
That's
hate
awesome.
celery, but I cannot make my bolognese without celery because it'll taste
I'm not a
bad.
fan. Yeah, celery's not that great, but
Yeah,
I get it.
it needs to be. It needs to be in my bolognese. So yeah, how about you? Do you do much cooking?
I don't cook a whole lot. I used to cook more.
Mm.
Now it's pretty rare. Mrs. Awesome does most of the cooking, and Ethan actually Ethma has gotten really into cooking.
Oh, cool.
So he's home for the summer from university. So
Mm-hmm.
he'll cook 1 or 2 nights a week, and then Mrs. Awesome will cook a couple nights a week. I'll do like once every other week or once every third week. I'll cook,
Yep.
and my favorite or the thing I like the best is I'll do a um, Korean barbecue
Oh,
tacos,
nice. Yep. Cool.
which are pretty good.
Yeah, Ben's done a couple of times because we quite like our slow cooker as well. So we'll quite often do like a goulash or like a corned beef or something in the slow cooker. But I have to get him to do it again because he makes a really nice like shredded chicken for tacos in the slow cooker. Just some chicken thighs and spices and onions and things, and then shreds it afterwards. It goes well in a taco. And a few years ago, he was really into doing beef brisket in the slow cooker, which he then turned into burritos primarily, or like we do like brisket rolls with like red onion and cheese and a good whole egg mayo and or like aioli, and yeah, it'd be a good time. We tend to go for simple foods like that. Like we'll have like schnitzel, like cut up schnitzel, or like Moroccan chicken wraps, or
Mm,
like chicken burgers, or you know
nice.
things in bread. We tend to go for, particularly midweek. We tend to be sit on the couch and eat dinner while we're watching something kind of people.
Cool.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah,
We've had a couple questions come through in the chat.
I
So
love that you're
one
paying
is,
attention.
yeah, that's all good. So Korean barbecue taco, it's kimchi, and we usually use ground turkey instead of ground beef, and then Korean barbecue sauce. So it's pretty basic. Um, that's the Korean barbecue tacos, and generally we do hard shells for those.
Right, nice.
And then the other question was travel with a family, and we do a beach week every summer. So we rent a place at the Jersey Shore at the beach, and then we generally will do like one other trip per year with the family, um, and it varies. Ethan Ethma likes to he's a runner,
Nice.
so he's been doing half marathons, and so we did. Oh, that's terrible. I just got a really bad bonus card.
Oh, I feel you. Not this game, but in general.
Yeah, yeah, 0 there.
Oh,
But he's been
gotcha.
running half marathons. So we just did Boston. We did a college visit with Fun Bun, and we turned it into a long weekend in Boston. And he did a half marathon up there.
Nice.
So we'll try and do like a destination half marathon in the summer and a beach week, and then that's kind of what we do. We did go to Costa Rica over the New Year, which was a really big trip for us. We don't usually travel international as a family. That was our first time out, but we've been all around the U.S. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
very
have
cool.
traveled quite a bit for work though.
Yeah.
I've been pretty lucky with that.
I suppose it's a bit different and sort of more special to do it with your family though, rather than for a work trip, because the work trip you've
Yeah,
always kind of
quite a
got
bit.
one
Yeah,
foot in the professional kind of mode, I suppose.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm trying to work out what I'm missing for mechanical. Is it still stickness? Have I screwed this up? Yeah, that's okay. I'm scoring well off my other ones. Um,
You call them stick nests.
I either that or platform. Depending, I kind of interchange. I suppose that's the third thing. It's what do you call the nest types? Because you asked about
Uh-huh.
food and about the habitats. So I probably go cup, ground, cavity, and either stick or platform, depending on where my brain is at in that current moment. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, but there are so many variations of what people call the nest types as well. It can be quite funny.
It can. We go bowl nest for the cups, cavity, ground nest, and then um, not stick nest, but the platform. We just call them platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't get eggs here because I'm going to give you 3 eggs.
You could take food for your Swift and give me one
I
egg.
could do that, or my last bonus card was visionary. I could go drop my last. That's only 4 points though.
Michael in the chat saying the quiet part out loud. Thanks, Michael. No, it's fine. Always with the coaching. I see you and I appreciate you.
We did, and there was a question about cool birds in Costa Rica. It was incredible. Like seeing the frigate birds in person, they are so large. Like they were just flying over top of us constantly when we were on the coast,
Mm.
uh, and all kinds of parrots, and um, like tropical kind of birds. It was really cool to see all those when we were down there.
Yeah, nice. Really looking forward to a potential Central and South America expansion coming through. Would be great. So many cool birds.
So I went for food and I got 0 worms.
Oh no, that's rough.
Yeah, it was rare. But the barred owl finally hit.
Okay.
So I got that going for me.
That's something. Thank you for the egg.
You're welcome. I'll just let you,
Appreciate you.
do more things.
That's very gentle.
It'll be good though.
Very gentlemanly of you. Yeah, I think it is probably Swain's. I wanted to play the Condor, but it's probably Swainson's because that matches Mechanical Engineer, as Michael says. Because that's 10, so it's 8 points, whereas the Condor is, it's neutral plus a bonus card. Yeah, it's got to be Swainson's, right?
That's a no-brainer, yeah.
Mark
I think you're taking
Michaels,
this one.
hello. How are you? My tournament opponent from yesterday. It was very sweet that I saw you subscribe.
If anyone's wondering, the Red
mean
Sox.
to be spooking my stream when I told you that I accidentally scheduled my tournament game during this stream. I had to say to my opponent, sorry, I'm an idiot. I can't play a tournament game at that time. I can multitask, but I can't multitask that well.
That's a bit much, yeah.
It's a little bit much. Alright, 6 eggs on the scrub fowl. Very good. And Kakapo will get me 3 points. I'll take it. You know what? I'm happy with that.
And you got 12 on behaviorist. That's nice.
12, yeah. A little bit of behaviorist math. And just managed to qualify for Nectar. Sometimes that's all you can do. And you're going to speed through this count up, but I'm going to watch it.
I'm letting it go this time.
You let it go. Okay.
Wow, 31 bonus points. That's huge.
Yeah. That's the swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do love a behaviorist game, I have to say.
Very nice.
Hen's asking.
GG.
Yeah, GG. Well done. What's your bonus card nemesis? Hen's asking. Kat.
Bonus card nemesis. I think behaviorist is probably the one that I just don't want to ever see.
Even more than like site selection.
Site selection I like.
You like site selection? Okay.
Oh sure. That's usually it's a min of 5 for me, I think.
Yeah. No, I don't like site selection.
I don't love it, but if I get it, I can work with it. Like you can usually work to where you get a handful of points from it.
Oh yeah, that visionary leader's a bummer. That's sad. Yeah, only 7 tucks on my first round rough is a little bit I mean, I can't complain because I won, but I think I needed a bit better card draw, I think. And that always happens to me when I play rough. Um,
Hmm.
I just never have quite enough cards to max it out. Um,
But even so, I mean, that's 9 points. It's an 8 point bird for you. That's still pretty good,
yeah, and
even
it's
if
giving you
you're playing
those
cards.
card cycles, I suppose, during the game. That's
Yeah,
valuable as well in terms of what it's doing for you, and not just the points it's scoring. Um, Mark Michaels is saying they hate bird feeder. It's
yeah, I
like
don't like that one either.
46% of birds eat wheat, but it's so hard to max out.
It really is hard to max that one,
Yeah.
but it's easy to min it. So like
Mm.
between that and breeding manager, that and something else that's really bad, like
It's like
it's the
citizen
lesser.
scientist and
Yeah.
bird bander and bird feeder. I just feel like their maximum should just be taken down by like one bird.
Yep. I
That would
agree.
just kind of normalize them and make them at least mediocre and not terrible, I think.
Totally.
Yeah. Cool. Well, any last questions for Kat before we finish up? Thank you everybody for coming along, and hope you had a good time. I do have one carrot cake cupcake left, which I might save for
Oh
tomorrow,
no.
but I will polish that up, polish that off with relish, um, and a Cat can go off and eat his whole peanuts, including the shells, or whatever he
There
does
you
for
go.
fun.
Oh,
No,
usually only at the ballpark for those, but yeah.
sure, fair enough, fair enough. How are the Red Sox going lately?
Good. I was just gonna say a few minutes ago. I meant to say they beat the Yankees tonight, so
Oh,
it's a
nice,
good day.
very good.
Anytime you beat the Yankees, it's a good day.
Okay, good to
They're
know.
in general they're doing okay this year. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're kind of middle of the pack, and
Cool.
we'll see.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't expect them to be high highs all the time, but it's nice when it's
exactly.
not low lows. So,
Right. Take what you get.
exactly, exactly. Well, thank you very much for joining me. That was really fun. I might have a pick over some of the things that I talked about, and maybe pull out some photos that you could post in your channel with a few annotations. I think that's
That'd be sweet. Yeah,
what
that
we
would be great.
agreed.
I do have another one coming out too. I've been talking with two different folks, so I should
Oh,
have
cool.
hopefully one out in the next couple of days, and then it could be a couple of weeks for the next one.
Nice.
But
Can you give us a sort of little inkling on who it's going to be?
yeah, the one that's ready to go almost is Beans on Toast, who you
Oh,
just had
cool.
on your
Okay.
stream. Yeah, so we were kind of
Stream
working through that.
favorite. Yeah, that'll be a popular
There you
one.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's beloved
Yep.
among
And then the
us
other one's
bird
going to be
banders.
someone from someone from Kazakhstan.
Oh,
I
cool.
got some.
That'll
Yeah, I
be
like to
really
find
interesting.
people from different places. Yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah, very cool. Nice. And Asia next week, everybody. Get ready,
Hype,
get
hype, hype.
set, fire
There
up
you
your
go.
engines. So I had an issue with my chat before the stream, so I had to unlist all my Asia streams, but they're still there, so I just need to flip them back to being public. So you'll be able to see everything that I've currently got planned, which is pretty much to stream every day next week after it launches, which is going to be a bit wild, but we'll see how we go. It's going to be much more talking about Asia itself and gameplay, even though I've got guests, and that'll be really fun. And we'll probably still do some sort of banter and questions and etc. just in between turns and things. But it'll be much more about gameplay, because Asia is the new and shiny thing that we all want to play with. Um, so yeah, have a look at that. See who we're going to be having on the show. Just to give you a rundown, we've got Aqua in the mix, and Palindrome, and Zobi the week after, and Giraffe as well, and Kitty as well. We've got some 2v2s planned, so that's going to be really fun. And I am looking for somebody who might, I mean, I don't have to have a guest. I can probably hold it by myself if I need to, but I was looking for on my Thursday, which is Thursday morning in the US and Thursday afternoon, I think, in Europe. I'm looking for somebody who might want to stream with me then and play some Asia. So keep that in mind if you're free. But otherwise, I can always just see who's about and pick somebody out of obscurity. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be lots of Asia. And also don't forget that we've got Peach coming along for our normal weekly stream. That's going to be my Wednesday morning, which is Tuesday night in the US. So similar sort of time as this one, but Tuesday night. So that's the regularly scheduled weekly interviewee stream, but probably will be a little bit more Asia gameplay than normal. So yeah, that'll be fun. And thank you again to Cap. It was a fun time and learned a lot of new things. And I have a list here of things I've got to look up, some bands and some books. And yeah, I love learning about new things and being pointed in different directions. I hit the mic again. And my yellow-breasted chat is just bouncing while I was talking. That's kind of funny. So thank you, everybody, and see you soon. Cheers for that.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. See ya.